Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection. We are excited to be outdoors again. We're at the beautiful Ligani Clubs in New Kingston, Jamaica. Good morning to those who have joined us on air and online. And to those back in the studio, good morning, Lloydie. Mr. Producer, good morning to you. And my co-host, Pastor Percival Palmer. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, my dear friend. How are you today?
I am very well. This is your host, Minett Lawrence. Well, part of the twosome. We're not the terrible twosome.
No, they normally refer to children not to as the terrible two, but I said no. We will speak good of them. We are the terrific twos.
Terrific twosome.
The terrific twosome, not the terrible two. We're not getting into any problem. We are just being mindful and being prophetic and being reminding of the principles that should govern us. So, good morning. Glad to be here. You know, when Minett and Lowell is away, yours truly have to stay in the studio, but then the people have a bonus. They can get called. they have a call in regards to it. So, good morning. So, good morning, to everyone.
Oh, this is why I love being at the club. Because we're here say good morning and people are passing by and they take it personally. So they answered. That's beautiful.
It looks like a group of young people, probably advocates, come to Jamaica to do something. You know, the SGDs, that's how the SGDs.
If I know my co-host, I know he will snag somebody in the break and find out exactly what is going on. And then I will share it with you. But no, we're really pleased to be outdoors again. It's looking a little overcast.
Yes, it is.
You can see the morning looks British.
It looks British.
It looks British. I'm looking at it on the screen and it looks, a soft gray look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's very cool. And in short order too, the summer children, you might hear the noise of the kids coming through. We're being visited by a bird who is eating up the leftover popcorn from yesterday's festivities. Yeah, look, he's right there. Right there.
Oh, you mean a pigeon?
It's a pigeon. It's not a bird? No, it's not a bird. Or more to the point, a pigeon.
Correct.
And you know what it is.
I just know it's a bird.
No. You remember when you used to watch this thing? It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Well, I know that's a bird.
And that's not. Surely that is not Superman. That
Superbird.
Superbird.
Yeah, it's one of the club's pets. So let me tell you a little bit about the Ligani Club, where the wildlife roam free.
Not a joke, that's a serious thing.
we really do.
They're very friendly. They'll come up to you.
Yeah, this one is just strolling through and eating popcorn. Okay. And of course, we had to fight with the birds and the lizards for the mangoes.
Oh, yes, we did.
Yes, and sometimes
they win.
The neighborhood rats.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because we're in New Kingston, and whoa, I tell you, sometimes with all the food places around and garbage not. I have digressed in a very unpleasant direction. Kingston is a marvelous city. It has everything you'd find in any other city, but it happens to be in Jamaica, so that gives it an extra special touch. Welcome all. Thursday, it is Free-Flowing Thursday. This is the morning or the episode in which Percival and I roam freely through the various issues that we've covered in the course of the week. And we don't take calls on Thursdays, which continues to be a sad point for some people. Me too, really, because sometimes I really do like the interaction and the different perspectives that come at you from our listeners. So I miss you on Thursdays also. But it really does give Percival and myself an opportunity to speak at greater length on some of the issues which Jamaica needs to contend with in order to successfully traverse these days. Percival,
I was just thinking
in another
about,
place.
I was just thinking about what you said, that the things that we have to contend with as we traverse or we travel on our path to real national identity. Yesterday we raised the point in regards to our soul of our nation and what is happening out there. It really is. And you know, when I leave here and I'm just going back and reflecting on what people have said and some of the things that we know that others may not know. We're saying that we really are at an inflection point in our history and the things that we need to do. So it really is. It really is, you know. Yeah. Don't know if the nature is reflecting that in terms of how the morning is for us, but yes. Yeah.
Yeah, the morning does have a kind of very gray, nostalgic, let's walk down memory lane kind of look and feel.
Yes. And good morning to Catherine.
Yes, see, Catherine set us up with water.
Yes.
We have our water service on the table.
You know, one day we need to just
well, because our boss won't talk to us.
Yes. Yeah. I said, Catherine.
Yes. You know, it is an appropriate time to just express thanks to JD's Urban Pub, the resident restaurant. This is where club members and members of the public who want to come in have an opportunity to eat some excellent Jamaican food. They are one of our sponsors on Thursday morning, serving us always the most delicious local breakfast. I've not gone back to having omelets and pancakes and, you know, the more North American type fare. Every Thursday morning I manage to eat sometimes it's mackerel rundown, or it's just, you know, picked mackerel with lots of onions and peppers. It's ackee and saltfish. Sometimes it's steamed with some of the corn pork. You know, the kind of, well, some of you don't eat pork. Let's not spend too much time on the pork. The corn pork is cooked by itself too, with lots of pepper and tomatoes, and usually very delicious. And all of this is served with your traditional Caribbean brown provisions.
Yes.
Your boiled bananas, your yellow yam, or pumpkin.
Cornmeal dumpling.
And you get cornmeal dumpling? Yes, it is cornmeal. Boiled dumplings. Percy has noticed that sometimes it has cornmeal. Even Irish potatoes, sweet potatoes, usually very, very, very popular sweet potatoes. And this is your traditional Jamaican breakfast. I hope some of you are already drooling at the memory of home and the cooking that is standard in the Jamaican kitchen. Yes. Always steamed callaloo or cabbage or some vegetable is on the plate, and then you get your orange juice or pineapple juice. And so we enjoy Thursday mornings. Now you know we're here for the food, but we thank JD's Urban Pub and the staff who are always gracious and in that laid-back Jamaican hospitable style. You know they are serving you from the heart. Nobody is serving us for tips because we are their guests. But yeah, a meal at JD's Urban Pub, and then throughout the day they have your standard fare now, your the typical sandwiches and wraps, and I noticed there's always curry goat and oxtail on the menu at any time. A pot of curry goat or oxtail is simmering in that kitchen. And you talked about stew chicken. Do you know it's one of the obviously one of the country restaurants or the chain. The first time I really saw like stew chicken being served for breakfast was Juicy.
Juicy beef, mothers were before juicy beef. You know?
Yeah, serving stew chicken. To me, stew chicken is dinner or lunch. But my friends in Jamaica, stew chicken is breakfast. Breakfast. Yeah, so that's JD's Urban Pub. We're really grateful for their support and their kindness to us when we're here on Free Flowing Thursdays. Outside of that, we are in the garden of the Ligani Club, part of the restaurant grounds, really, but we are surrounded by everything that is atypical of the club. So we thank the Ligani Club and JD's Urban Pub for taking care of us on Thursday mornings. So that's my word for the sponsors.
Ladies Urban and Legani Club. You never tell them about what Legani Club is.
At your time now.
The sports.
I've been selling it to you for a year and a half.
No, boy, with the more tennis courts, squash.
Eight tennis courts. How many squash courts?
It's 4.
6 and 2, 3 of them.
8, 4, 6.
We all no, 6. Yeah, so eight tennis courts, 6 squash courts.
Yeah.
The main court is a competition court, but we have three.
Standard.
We have 3 courts that allow you to, and they're all international standards and have been used for international tournaments. A full service gymnasium.
Full service
gymnasium, yes.
And almost
cardio room, weights room, aerobic room.
And almost Olympic size.
And a near Olympic size.
Almost Olympic size.
Almost there. Olympic size pool, which during the summer is getting some action. It is so hot. Well, summers are always hot. And I'm not going to talk about heatflation. Heatflation. It's just hot, like summer. Summer always hot in Jamaica. Not like summer not like July in South Africa, where we actually saw it snow. Oh. July and snow sound like something coming out of
a
post-apocalyptic movie.
No.
For a Caribbean girl.
No, I know what you mean.
It's hot as July.
Yeah,
Isn't that what Stevie Wonder said?
Yeah, in the song. But as it because based on where you are in the world, you get different.
You experience different climates. Yeah, we know that. Just like how when we were shuddering in South Africa, wrapped up in our blanket almost for breakfast, the South Africans are amazed that there's no winter in Jamaica. No winter? Jamaica started to look like a strange place.
Oh, that's what they say.
No, just like no winter?
No, we don't have winter. We have summer all year round.
We have hurricane season.
We have hurricane season and summer all year round.
Which, by the way, be reminded, hurricane season is still on.
It's still on. We've just gone through the first full month and a half. It was June 30th. Yeah.
And it go right up to November 30th. And if the Lord wills it, we'll get some hurricane weather in December. Because it can bleed over.
No, we're not going to get any. Not going to get any.
But, we rely on the providence of God to spare us and to respond to the prayer of the 1 or 2 persons who will say, Lord, if there are 5 righteous men in Kingston, will you save the city?
And he'll respond to that, right?
Of course he does.
That is something that I find amazing.
The providence of God is an amazing experience.
No, it's something I find amazing in terms of God and how he deals with his people. If you are there in a place,
try not to pay the penny section, even though we upgraded it to $1 last week. Last time we said that penny section is worth more. Yeah. When did you discover that, Mr. Lawrence? All right, so Free Flowing Thursday is flowing very freely with the producer throwing barbs at us from the corner. You want to open your mic, Lowell? Your fans are waiting. Those who haven't heard you in a long time.
My mic is open. What would you like me to speak about?
Listen to me. When you're so chatty in the corner, we should have to tell you what to speak about.
Oh.
Tell us about your vacation.
Okay.
Tell us about your pilgrimage.
My pilgrimage.
Your pilgrimage. Where were you for the last couple of weeks? Are you on mic? Are you just messing with us?
No, my mic. I do turn on the mic. No, yes.
Percy, should we allow it?
Oh, my vacation was one vacation.
Vacation. That's why I paused.
Well,
because
my
trip
was wonderful, excellent. I mean, what was amazing for me is the fact that we were so cold. I've never been so cold in all my life.
It was your first.
No, it wasn't.
Hard winter.
Well, it was the first hard winter for sure. But it's amazing
experiences.
And I mean, I had the good fortune of witnessing snow. Snow in July. Can you imagine? You tell
Did I send you a video?
There's snow in July, they would never believe it. But Snow in July, indeed.
If you have Christmas in
Very
July in
cold.
Jamaica, what you expect? You my brother?
Well, the snow wasn't in Jamaica. So.
but you know, they have this new thing by the Ministry of Tourism.
Oh, Christmas in July.
Christmas in July, where they are showcasing all the different, trying to push the linkages. Things.
Oh, they're continuing to sell our
country for sale.
Oh man, I tell you. But it was more focusing on getting SMEs involved in what they want in terms of seeing at the potential linkages and where they can sell products. So
yeah, but why use a theme Christmas to do it?
You don't know, brother. There's so much when Christmas happens. It looks like
Associated with the joy and
freedom. Your hand become free at Christmas time.
So we will call it Christmas.
Christmas.
Christmas. The Christmas.
Oh Lord, help us in this country. Christmas.
But you know, what it is.
But having had this wonderful week, all these different things happened this week. Boy, it's just time to pause and to give thanks that, Lord, in spite of all the things that have happened and are happening in terms of Jamaican reality, but in terms of the world stage and the different geopolitical things that are happening, we give God thanks for his mercies and his grace and his sustaining power. You know, one of our guys is present in Haiti. I didn't tell you. Sean, Pastor Sean.
Oh.
Pastor Sean is in Haiti. So we have a Caribbean-wide coalition of persons who use sports in ministry. And I remember years ago, in like 2001, we hosted a Caribbean sports conference here in Jamaica. And I was the organizer of it. And we had people coming from all over the Caribbean to introduce them to the concept of using sport, the tool of sport in ministry in terms of outreach, in terms of reaching persons who normally not come inside the doors or even grace the shadow of a church. And it's been powerful in terms of doing a lot of stuff. And so Sean, out of that initiative years ago, that's over 20 odd years ago, when I was running all over the place, traveling all over the Caribbean and meeting people for the first time, is their training. So I wish him Godspeed. And you know, when we think of Haiti, we think of Port-au-Prince as Haiti, but Port-au-Prince is not Haiti. It's just like saying when you think of Jamaica, you think of Kingston. And I travel overseas and them say, you come from Kingston? I said, no, I don't come from Kingston. I come from some place. And they say, we thought Kingston was Jamaica. And I said, no. But even with what you're seeing, some of the lawlessness in other areas in Haiti, it is not that out of hand, you know. So safe journey for you. Sean Evans, you are there on the Lord's business, so we give you thanks. And what's sticking in your brain this morning? I see you writing.
I'm writing because I was in the book of Amos recently, and I saw a pattern which intrigued me. I saw where the Lord spoke certain things to the prophet, and the prophet interceded on behalf of the people, and the Lord relented.
You mean like what?
He stayed his hand. Yes. I remember one of our callers saying something to us about, does God change his mind? And I was explaining to the best of my ability that there are some interactions between God and man where God sets a position, creating an opening for man to intercede and find some path to salvation.
And when does that
that's his character.
That is his character.
That's his character.
Even though he has set a course in judgment. Malvern, you set a course in judgment, Malvern. There's always Malvern always saying, don't talk about judgment. That's a part of when God has the justice of God.
Yeah.
But he always, that is why there's redemption.
Right. So and it's something that this morning I feel moved to emphasize it because of what is happening around us. That in discovering and understanding the ways of God, you must appreciate the moments when God has opened a conversation. It's like a chess game. He makes a first move and you look at the table and you have some options. You've got to choose carefully what your next move is, because your next move can open a space for you to gain a blessing as opposed to judgment, the execution of judgment. Recognizing that there is always judgment. There is always judgment. So it's not like you can prevent the consequences flowing if all the corrective steps are not taken. So I was intrigued by the pattern I saw emerging in the book of Amos. If you're interested, it is Amos chapter 7. In Amos chapter 7, this prophet was shown a few things. And his response led to a deferment of the event. But came a time, as you will see when you read it, that a certain course was adopted. And it was two things that God showed him. The Lord showed him locusts. Locusts that would destroy the crops and obviously usher in famine and starvation. Because if the food... And we're seeing with heatflation is what was the headline. The Lord said to the prophet...
What do you see in?
The Lord showed me. Behold, he formed locust swarms at the beginning of the late crop. Indeed, it was the late crop after the king's mowings. And so it was when they had finished eating the grass of the land that I said, O Lord God, forgive, I pray. Oh, that Jacob may stand, for he is small. So appropriate if you're talking about Jamaica, little country. If we plant well, we can barely feed ourselves. To have the crops destroyed, the late crop too, this is, you've already eaten the first and the
first crop, the first fruit.
And it is after the king has taken his. So the princes, I tell you, the princes of the land are fed. And then comes an assault on what should be left
for the people.
For the people. And the prophet interceded, oh, that Jacob may stand, for he is small. So the Lord relented concerning this. It shall not be, said the Lord. And then he showed him another vision. This now was fire. The Lord showed me, behold, the Lord God called for conflict by fire. Isn't that war? And it consumed the great deep. This is the great deep referred to water.
Yes.
The great deep, and devoured the territory. So you see what's going on in Ukraine. There was no prophet to say, oh Lord God, cease, I pray. Oh, that Jacob may stand, for he is small. Oh, Ukraine could have done with an intercession like that.
No, but I tell you something. I'm in touch with some people out of Ukraine.
And the prayers are going up.
Prayers are going up and miracles are happening. Yeah,
because I mean, for Ukraine to be still standing.
Yeah, but just people who are in Ukraine and some like somebody was relating a story to us. Is somebody out of Ukraine? They were told at church.
A Ukrainian?
Yes, told to move, and they know. They said the instruction was move now because they are going to destroy. And they are walking from one place to the other in the darkness, and there is a light.
Wow, the pillar of light.
A light that is guiding them.
Israelites.
And they are hearing gunfire.
But none come near their tent.
None come near. How they reported it is like a force shield was there. And they heard the bullets going on, but none has injured them. So you don't get these things reported, but this is...
No.
because
not in the mainstream, because that might that might cause
the narrative.
some of the power bases to crumble. And it's not time for that yet. When it is time, it shall come.
Oh, jeez. Now they starting something. It's like something. On the power bases. No, man. Watch and see.
Yeah. So the Lord relented concerning this conflict by fire, which would have devoured the territory. This shall not be, said the Lord God. But now I come to the inevitable, and this is in verse 7, and this is the vision of the plumb line. Those who are familiar with Amos 7:7, those who are familiar with construction know what the plumb line is used to do.
Yes.
I always see the men with that cord,
making sure that it is square.
Making sure that it level.
And it is square and it is lining up, because you can imagine if us is like the bit leaning to a pizza.
A pizza. Yeah.
They never had a plumb line.
Which is a marvel. They didn't have a plumb line. Or the plumb line was on a vertical. Or what is that slant? No. So, the plumb line is the last vision in Amos chapter 7. You can never escape the plumb line. Thus he showed me, behold, the Lord stood on a wall made with a plumb line in his hand. And the Lord said to me, Amos, what do you see? And I said, a plumb line. Then the Lord said, behold, I am setting a plumb line in the midst of my people Israel. I will not pass by them anymore. Okay. The work of the plumb line is something of a different order. I'm not going to go into that for this conversation. What I wanted to emphasize, Percival, and build a discussion around it, certainly a deep awareness of it, is that, one, you must have prophets at work in your nation. People who see, who hear, and who have the boldness to speak the word of God in season. So that's the first thing. The work of the prophet can stay some of the terrible disasters that can overwhelm us. And I believe that Jamaica has benefited tremendously from the work of such people who are quietly in their position, speaking the word, interceding as they must, and staving off some of the great disasters that many of us have looked at it, seen it coming.
Yeah, I've been a part of it.
And then at the last minute,
see it averted.
You see it averted. The Lord relented.
Remember that hurricane that was coming straight?
The one that I know everybody thought what that was.
But it's like it came.
Hurricane Dean.
I don't remember what it was.
Dean is one of them.
And
you see it like at the shoreline.
It's out of the water and it's going, can I come?
Yeah.
Or should I not come? Can I come? And it just stood there. And then it turned. Scouted around the thing and went.
Our history, because remember now, we have hurricane season every year from June to November. Mm-hmm. So we have seen many such happenings. Only one or two fierce hurricanes have been permitted to enter the territory, and the Lord knows when it did we deserved it.
The Gilbert.
Yeah. Earthquakes, we're prone to earthquakes. Look how much has happened around the world. Even some places that haven't had earthquakes in a long time are getting tremors all the time. The earth is shaking.
The earth is shaking, waiting for the manifestations
of the sons of men. And we are manifesting right here in Jamaica. I have to say sons and daughters, to be clear.
Sons of God. Yeah.
So we're taking our 7 o'clock break now. When we come back, I just want to continue to relate these happenings and the way God operates with us to what's going on now, so you can align yourself properly and be a part of the move which will cause the aversion of certain disasters.
Things to do.
Take the break.
You're simply the best. BES FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
On this week's House Matters, secondary supplementary estimates tabled in Parliament, sexual harassment tribunal to be established, and House approves a 60-day extension for Zozos. I'm Jada Francis. Stay tuned. Minister of Finance and the Public Service Dr. Nigel Clark on Tuesday tabled the second supplementary estimates in the House of Representatives. In addressing the House, Dr. Clark outlined that the primary objective of the supplementary estimates is to reallocate to individual heads of ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs, the required funds to enable payment of the compensation adjustments during the fiscal year. He said it proposes for the transfer of $14.8 billion from the contingency allocation under the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service to the MDA heads.
The addition of $8.9 billion to recurrent programs, primarily to facilitate the payment of compensation, restructure as follows: $1.5 billion to municipal corporations, $1.7 billion to the National Water Commission, $750 million to the Urban Development Corporation, $445 million to the JUTC and Mobile Metro, $990 million to the NSWMA, $166 million to the Golden Age Home, $167 million to the Poor Relief Officers, and $298 million to infirmary.
The second supplementary estimates was subsequently referred to the Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, PAAC, for further review. Meanwhile, a sexual harassment tribunal is to be established to hear complaints and settle legal disputes in relation to sexual harassment matters. The announcement was made by Gender Minister Olivia Grange, who added that the tribunal is being established in accordance with the provisions of the Sexual Harassment Protection and Prevention Act 2021. She added that it will provide an appropriate dispute resolution mechanism to investigate sexual harassment allegations and administer penalties to offenders.
The Act is very specific about the identification and selection of 14 members. Eligibility criteria to serve on the tribunal must entail professional qualifications and extensive experience in roles such as attorneys at law for 4 members, mediators for 4 members, and gender affairs, mental health, employer representation, and labor relations for the remaining 6 members.
Minister Grange also noted that the composition of the tribunal will take gender parity into account, with at least half of its members being women. In the meantime, the House of Representatives has approved a further 60-day extension of the Zones of Special Operations (ZOZOs), currently in effect in 7 areas across the island. These areas include Denham Town, Kingston, Norwood and Mount Salem, St. James, Greenwich Town, Parade Gardens and Augusttown, St. Andrew, and Savannah Lamar, Westmoreland. The ZOZOs were set to expire on August 24. The motion for the extension was piloted by the Minister of National Security, Dr. Harish Chang.
The zones continue to transition along the clear-hold build spectrum. Mount Salem and Denham Town will continue in the build phase and are showing extremely good outcomes, while Greenwich Town, Augusttown, Norwood, Parade Gardens and Savannah Lamar will continue the hold phase for this period of extension. The achievement and progress we have attained in the zones are undeniable. It is therefore imperative that we continue to support these efforts in the interest of national security and the safety and security of our vulnerable and volatile communities and the continued development program in these areas.
And finally, Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton on Tuesday tabled the National Family Planning Repeal Bill 2023 and the National Council on Drug Abuse Repeal Bill 2023. He said that under both repeal bills, the National Family Planning Board, NFPB, will be integrated as a division of the Ministry of Health known as the National Family Planning Services, while the National Council on Drug Abuse, NCDA, will become a department of the ministry.
Integration of these 2 entities is in accordance with the Public Sector Transformation Action Plan, which notes that the functions of these entities do not require body corporate status. The integration will allow for the achievement of synergy in operations and greater efficiencies. At the same time, the integration will see the streamlining of services and eradicating duplication of effort.
Dr. Tufton said the new division will be tasked with encouraging and engaging individuals, families, and communities across coverage of the underserved and marginalized and enhanced mutual stability. That's it for this week's House Matters. Join us again next time for more on what's happening in the Houses of Parliament. I'm Jada Francis. Take care.
a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Our world is changing rapidly, and our most valuable resource will be our teachers. They are the key to preparing us for the future. The government of Jamaica is investing in education teachers through scholarships in the field of STEM studies, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Apply for a STEM scholarship for the opportunity to get qualified to pursue a rewarding career as a STEM teacher. Find out more at www.mof.gov.jm/scholarships. Sign up for a STEM scholarship today. Conditions apply.
Zongo zongo go zongo zeng. Zongo zongo go zongo zeng. I'm getting married in the morning. Hey, this is King Yellowman. And remember, the 31st of July. Remember, original, black and white, featuring Sniper International, with a man called DJ Kippo, DJ Snow, DJ Toppy, and it's gonna be at the Savage Pen Sport Complex off Garden Town Road. I found my trail. Yeah man, big up. Make it a date. Don't be late. 31st of July.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-382-528 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
Vejan Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Vejan Printers, your best choice in printing.
Jamaica and the world, you want us back? We are back. The Breakthrough Deliverance Ministry, led by me, the prophet Mark Stewart, right here on Bess 100 FM. This and every Thursday night from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. Yes, it's War Room Thursday. Come on out and join us, each and every one, on Bess 100 FM, 100.1, 357 and 9. Come on out. Join me, the prophet, Reverend Mark Stewart, and of course, the boss shot, Apostle Marshall. Come for your healing, breakthrough, deliverance, the prayer, the miracle, the word, the testimony, and so much more. Yes, my friends, Bess 100 FM, Bess 100 FM, War Room Thursday, 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. Join us. We are going to lick
What should a taxi service do for you? On-Time Taxi Service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
From anywhere at all, you can call us at 926-3866.
We are something special on the road.
Best 100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us Minett and Percy on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats. Best.
Welcome back. All right, so before we took the break, if you are just joining us, I say a hearty welcome to you. And I know I have some new friends who are looking in on our program. I am delighted to welcome you. I will not mention any names just in case I overlook any of them. But you know, Percival, on our travels, we spoke about the program, what you and I do here, and I would say it struck a pleasant chord in some quarters. So a few new people are looking in, appreciating the fact that many of the issues we tackle here in Jamaica are common in the experience of our brothers and sisters
across the world,
throughout Africa, across the world. Mm-hmm. And because we have chosen, or we've been permitted by the Holy Spirit to focus our attention on interpreting contemporary events through the lens of kingdom principles, that is just intriguing, I believe, to everyone, as it is for us. It's always interesting to me how the very ancient words of Scripture can come alive with such vibrancy in the conflicts of today. When I went through the book of Amos, something spoke to me so powerfully. I know that it is relevant to my own life and experience, but I know also that there are many out there who are experiencing something of the same thing, and they're wondering, what is it that the Lord has opened up in my life? What season am I in? In Amos chapter 7, after the prophet had successfully interceded to stay the hand of God in two particular forms of judgment, locust that would lead to hunger, starvation, famine on the land, and fire that would have devoured, a conflict by fire, war, even if it is the spontaneous combustion or accidental fires that have taken out communities and ecosystems in some parts of the world. Now we see fires, we're quite accustomed to seeing it all across America, but now we're seeing it in Canada.
Yeah.
Fires in Canada. They had fire in Australia that destroyed,
hectares upon hectares.
Thousands of hectares of land. I think we've had some small bushfires on the hillsides of Jamaica.
Yeah, because some of the areas just
spontaneously combust
because of the heat.
Yeah. So here the prophet was shown conflict by fire that would have devoured across sea and land. No. And the Lord said no.
Now when you use fire.
Will not
now
use
when you use locust.
Not use the locust.
But then he
brought out the plumb line. And the plumb line is a leveling of the field, which is inevitable. No complaining about the plumb line. The plumb line is necessary to restore balance, to create harmony in your environment, in your life. So we won't talk about the plumb line because you can't escape the plumb line. But after Amos had spoken and caused displeasure, so just check yourself. If you are speaking truth, especially truth to power, meaning the powerful ones in your workplace, in your family, in your country, if you have a national platform, once you begin to speak truth, even in your own house, you will draw fire. Amos, the prophet speaking in Israel at the time.
You're going to draw people's attention. People are going to seek to shut you up. To tell you, shut up your mouth. Which is what ultimately...
Sound like you've heard it.
Shut up your mouth.
Yes.
You talk too much.
And they will silence you in many different ways. In Amos's case, this was what happened to him. The priest in the church.
Religious authorities.
The religious authority. Because remember now, Israel at this time, Jeroboam the king had said, I am worried that if people keep going to Jerusalem to church, they are going to turn from me as head of state, and I'm going to lose them to the king of Judah, because Israel was now split, and Judah had the temple where God says, my name will forever be associated with this temple. So that's the place to go. The king in Judah set up his own seat of government in Bethel, created his images, golden images, and set up his own altar. So this is like now you're creating now a new seat of power to be in competition with the main temple, which is, they understood that even though they had their king, it was God who was the power behind Israel as a tribe, as a nation, as a state, whether they were binary or unitary. You know, like Jamaica and a compound. Whether you're binary or you're unitary, there is God behind your power. So Jeroboam had set up his own altar. This is the altar where he, as guardian, tried to do various things. And the young prophet from Judah came over to say, this altar is cursed. God had instructed him to speak against the altar. And Jeroboam had stretched out his hand, and it was immediately withered. And the same young prophet had to pray for him. Well, that's a whole different story.
It's a totally different
story.
In terms of altars.
But here we are with a prophet now speaking in Israel, where this false altar was the seat of the king's power. Naturally, the priest who is serving in the house has a problem with the prophet who is speaking truth. So remember now, I'm giving you this as guidance for you to reflect on what your experience is, because there are many prophets at work in Jamaica. God is talking to many people in this end times, where he says, I will pour out my spirit on all flesh, your sons and your daughters, visions, prophecy. It's happening right here in Jamaica. There are many people to whom God is speaking and charging us to go out there and be his voice to restore balance, righteousness, harmony. If you are in that place, this is what will likely happen to you. If it hasn't happened as yet, expect it. If it is happening now, know what your coverage is. Amaziah is the priest serving under this king with the false altar. Said to Amos, well, first he spoke to the king, because that's how it's going on. Somebody going to make a report against you to some high official. Might be the prime minister, might be the minister of national security, might be your employer at the highest level, if that's what you're in. Percy's smiling at me because he knows how I got reported. Maybe it's the general legal counsel. You're going to be reported. So that's the first thing you must expect. Amaziah, the priest of Bethel, sent to Jeroboam, the king of Israel, saying, Amos has conspired against you in the midst of the house of Israel. Who just got released from a charge of conspiracy? Me, and 4 others. Amos has conspired against you in the midst of the house of Israel. The land is not able to bear all his words. For thus Amos has said, Jeroboam shall die by the sword, which he did, by the way, and Israel shall surely be led away captive from their own land, which did happen, and by the way. Then Amaziah said to Amos, go, he run him out of the country.
Get out of here.
Go, you prophet.
Get out of here.
Flee to the land of Judah.
Earn your bread and do your prophesying there.
Yep.
But you know,
there eat bread
and
and they don't have nowhere to go. There, I have I mean, I believe the intent is for me to leave. Don't you think?
Leave?
Of course. Well, they say leave the profession. Then they say leave the industry of telecommunications. And in so doing, they take away your livelihood. They take away your means to survive. But here they say, go do your thing in a different place. There prophesy, but never again prophesy at Bethel. For it is the king's sanctuary and it is the royal residence. So you must expect to be pushed out of the place where their power is set. Is that clear enough, Pastor Percival?
Very
clear enough. Then Amos answered and said to Amaziah, because you got to be fearless. You can't just bend your head and creep off. Amos the prophet spoke. He said, I was no prophet, nor was I a son of a prophet. I was a sheep breeder and a tender of sycamore fruit. The man was a farmer, husbanding animals and tending his crops. Then the Lord took me as I followed the flock, and the Lord said to me, go prophesy to my people Israel. In other words, you may be a banker, a lawyer, a doctor, a teacher, whatever profession you are, you're a farmer, you're keeping animals, whatever it is you're doing, but you find that your heart is constantly burdened by a weight of care for the state of your nation
and the people of the nation.
And the people of the nation. So many of those who call us, Percival, carry that weight. How are people able to buy food? How are they surviving? What kind of increase on their pay is not going to be enough for a man to live? Some are saying, give the people land. You know what is happening? The Lord is speaking to you and showing you his heart for the redemption of his people. And he is pushing you to become a voice in the nation, calling for these things to be done. I am encouraging you, if that is your situation,
do not
be
stop.
bold and be fearless. Do not stop. The producer said, rise up. Because when you do so, the Lord covers you. Amos was not easy, you know. Amos says, I was a farmer and looking about my crops and my animals, and the Lord said to me, go and do this. And you see, because of what you are doing to me now, thus says the Lord, your wife shall be a harlot in the city. Yes, your family will fall apart around you. You will be betrayed in the most, you'll be betrayed in the most sacred and private areas of your life. So, understand that the Lord will not allow your enemies to drink champagne over you when you are bold and fearless and do what you're called upon. I won't speak anymore about the punishment that awaits those who abuse the Lord's people. But you have to be obedient.
That abuse the people. Argument, though.
But it's two things that happen, you know.
They abuse the Lord's people.
Because they're trying to exile Amos, who is only doing what he has been instructed to do. So, this morning, I really do want Pastor Percival to share a little bit. I have said that Jamaica has benefited, been blessed by the work of people such as I've described here. Those who were minding their own business, and the Lord started to set them at issues, and it drew fire to them, and they ended up losing, suffering for their obedience. Jamaica has been blessed by the work of such persons. And Percival was sharing with me this morning. He does not need to call names. I just want you to hear some of what has been going on in the trenches by the nameless, faceless heroes of the land who take an obedient path. And Jamaica has seen it. We benefited from it, not knowing that this is what set certain things in motion. Are you bold enough?
No, I'm just reflecting on some people would call it stupid things we have done, but in reflection, it was just in obedience to what we God clearly said, you know. Remember one, I know most of us will remember. There's a hurricane in recent history that, based on the path, it said it was a sure hit for Jamaica. There's no way that it was going to miss us or sidestep us. It was like
Straight on.
Straight on. And the instructions was, and I thing, we just, and some other persons I am associated with, I remember everybody saying, no, don't go. But we were instructed to go to
stand on the seashore.
Stand on the seashore at Palisados and speak to that hurricane. And I'm going, all right, that's what I hear God doing, saying, and I'm just going to obey it. And most people remember it. That hurricane just came, it just sat out there like it was having a conversation. But can I come? No, I'm not going to. Can I come? And then it just skirted the shores of Kingston and went around
Jamaica.
And some people say it was because of the mountains. No, but that it wouldn't be.
It's the mountains and they still come.
No, they are mountains and they still come. But I remember that. Or some things that we've done when Rima was running.
So before you move to the next one, remember now you know that there's a pattern. Jesus stood in the boat and spoke to the waves.
So that's what we said, we can speak. And I've heard, I remember doing this wedding up in, where did I go? Up in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And they said it was on outside. Set up to go. And them said, boy, rain going fall, you know. And the clouds came over. And it started to fall. And it was some Christian people. I said, no, we're going to have this wedding today.
I'm not coming back up here.
If all of this, because the wedding, them set up outside. And I said, no, man.
For wedding
and
part
I said,
two.
okay, let's shift atmosphere. I said to the DJ, play this music. And to those people there, let's begin to pray and speak to it. And as the pastor there, just agree with me. And I says, you're not going to fall. You're not going to fall today. And I clearly spoke to you. Rain stop fall, sun come out, move. And I left. And they said, no rainfall after that, boss, and rain normally fall. I said, well, but if you don't believe with an expectation, it's not going to happen. So Jesus gave us the example, and he spoke to the elements, and said, no.
Be still.
No, this is what, if there's any influence, and people have said before that some of the times, like even when Jesus was on the boat going, some people have said, no, man, that was some demonic influence happening there. So Jesus said, peace be still, the authority you have. And we have the same authority.
We have the same authority. And he said greater things than I did. You will do greater things.
Right.
So that means it is so you were going to give another one.
Right. And I remember when Earth was running red down in Rima.
This was Rima. 7:30. All right. More when we come. Free Flowing Thursdays in full motion.
Zongo zongo go zongo zeng. Zongo zongo go zongo zeng. I'm getting married in the morning. Hey, this is King Yellowman. And remember, the 31st of July. Remember, original, black and white, featuring Sniper International, with a man called DJ Kippo, DJ Snow, DJ Toppy, and it's gonna be at the Savage Pen Sport Complex off Garden Town Road. I found my tree. Yeah, man, big up. Make it a date. Don't be late. 31st of July.
Half a tree, 100, half a tree. Bossy, how you do I take taxi star?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and me check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? You waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters ought to have them.
Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. Yeah, hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me, send you.
You big star. Yeah, man. Respect my boss.
Yeah, try calling her, cause trust me.
Waiters, Auto Spares and Repairs, good afternoon.
Ah, what a relief.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-time taxi service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
From anywhere at all. You can call us on 926-3866.
We are something special on the road.
That does sound healthy at all. Get healthy, my friends. Stay balanced. Tune into this station, Bess FM 100, every Saturday morning, 8 o'clock to 9, for this wonderful program, Your Health Today, with me, Dr. Clarion Palmer. Yes, get healthy, get healthy, get healthy. Stay balanced. Bess FM 100, Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, with me, Dr. P. Get healthy.
We're just a click away. www.bestfm.com. Streaming live on the internet.
And love more, 'cause you open up the door.
Live, camera, volume. Live it up Fridays on Bess 100 FM. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. with I, Ibi Lion, each and every Friday. Giving you the better vibes, heard everywhere.
Things and watch me fly on Jamaican.
Goodness mercy, it's me again, Lord. Your restorer, your game changer. Join me every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and Bess FM 100. It's Apostle Clive Campbell, aka the Khaki Suit Man, coming to you from 8 to 12 Orange Street, also Richmond District, Mandeville. Embrace the change.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minett and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Bess 100 FM.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, you've joined the Morning Connection with Percival Palmer and Minett Lawrence. And today is Free Flowing Thursday live at the Ligani Club. This is Bess 100 FM, or out of studio play day. Play date with Percy at the Ligani Club.
You're talking about serious thing here.
Yeah, but during the week we are in studio at the station, and it's nowhere near as invigorating as being outdoors. So despite the slightly gloomy, overcast look, we're happy to be here at Ligani Club. And may I just say that we are right in the dining pavilion and looking at the many persons who are in Jamaica now for a convention at the Seabed Convention Center. Mm-hmm. And we're looking at the T-shirts which say Stop Deep Sea Mining. Producer and Pastor Percival have hatched a plot to snag one of the advocates and spend a few minutes with them, just getting an insight into why they're here what their position is, and how effective they think this action is likely to be.
Advocacy.
But earlier on, as Percival and I were talking, myself being greatly moved to speak from the prophecies of Amos, reminding us, one, of how important the work of a prophet is in a nation, because God will relent certain types of judgment based on the intercession of the prophet. So that led us into looking at times when Jamaica itself has benefited from the work of prophets behind the scenes, the work of the people of God who are praying and interceding behind the scenes. Percy has already given one testimony involving himself and certain other brave souls who stood on the shoreline of Jamaica when one of the many hurricanes was threatening the island. And we all can remember a hurricane sitting out there on the waters, just looking at Jamaica like, should I? And then eventually skirting around the shores and going elsewhere. And we blessed God for it at the time. But did we know exactly what men and women were doing to bring about this change? Many things happen and you don't know. Percy said some were speculating, oh, it's the mountains. We always have the mountains and hurricanes come to land. Why this particular one? You spoke about the rain being held at bay at a wedding which you officiated. And you were about to say something concerning Rima. You had said something. We're just talking a little bit, giving you an insight.
About just listening to instructions that don't make sense at all, but just learning to obey. I often say to people, I just have two words in terms of this work: faith and obedience. Faith that is based in God and obedience to what you hear God saying, whether it is a word straight out scripture, the logos, or a Rima. It quickens up, man. So when Rima was really going on bad, you talk about borders, he couldn't cross streets, and somebody again, I was associated with other pastors in the area, Trenchtown. We decided to do what was called a Christmas dinner.
What do you mean? What was called a Christmas dinner? Was it Christmas?
Christmas, it's close to Christmas.
But
it was in no man's land. The place was called No Man's Land. It was a place between the back of Jonestown and Rima.
I know it. It's still desolate.
It's a desolate place. And we said, as a group of persons, we're gonna just invite people and just feed them. Top of the line, cutlery, table set, and it broke. It broke the violence that was happening. Because we went to No Man's Land and we did it. And people will recall during that period when you were getting 2-3 shootings and things, it just broke it. Just like that. And I know people are doing that all over
this country. You spoke about a man who was told to carry a cross around the island.
Yeah, well, people remember Peter Morgan. He was just told, take a cross.
But was there any notable change that could have been associated with his obedience, or that might have been a personal act of...
Peter Morgan was part of the charismatic renewal that happened in the 90s that people speak about at Sheraton. And then out of the burden that he has for this nation,
is he still alive?
He's still alive, but he's in Trinidad now.
Okay.
And there's some conference on evangelization in Ghana. He was one of the main speakers. But he has been one of the persons that have said that Jamaica needs to pull up, and times they've just relented. Somebody that you know has a burden for this nation. You're a good friend, Robert Miller.
Yes.
In his heart.
Yes. And he's had that Amos experience of speaking in certain contexts and then finding himself stripped of honor and being pushed in a direction. Many persons who carry that burden will have that experience. We're just kind of preparing you, because if you're on the threshold of stepping out, or if you have already stepped out and finding yourself in deep waters, it's good to know that it's all in the plan and that there's an insurance coverage.
No, but even let's recently with this Dudos thing and the
You call it recently? That's not like 10 or how many years ago?
Yeah, but
yeah. Producer said Dudu's almost finished his sentence.
You understand, but I'm just reflecting on it, how the nation was on
He got
edge.
it hard.
He got it hard because of that. But you know, after it happened and he reached out and brought him in and things. People are calling my phone right left and center and saying, boy, thank you. You know, we don't understand what was at risk. You hear a lot of people not knowing the runnings. I remember speaking to a bad man, and he said to me, Carson, how much soldier and policeman you have? I said, what you have? He said, and him could tell me the number.
That's his business.
Yes, him know. Him say, can you imagine? I remember Dudos had brought together all of the gangs, PMP, JLP together. And when them say, out on the streets, you remember they tested it, on Mountain View, and some policemen lost their lives because of it. Says. We were on the verge.
Of getting to that place again?
And him said, so what do you think if, as them say in the streets, when we rise the weapon? And then, that's 10 years ago, but now we see the amount of guns that are out there. It's crazy, man. That's why, as you said, we have to look at an intervention that changes people's heart.
Ultimately.
Yeah.
It comes down to that. It will not happen otherwise.
Yeah.
And that's the long-term fix, which we got to start right away and have other strategies that will give more immediate relief. All right, so I want us to just turn our attention now. I see you brought papers as far back as Sunday.
Yes, and
what did you miss on Sunday that you feel?
Close call. Because in the thing today, you see where a person explaining why only five sittings in Parliament out of a possible 52, 53. Is that his age has caught up with him?
Well, yes, because at a certain age, everything is age-related. He had knee surgery, and shamefully, Parliament don't have an elevator. So Parliament is not set up to deal with the disabled. Age disability, you know that?
Yes, you have said that.
I've emphasized it many times.
That age
is a disability. Yeah. And there is a reason why the International Telecommunications Union had set the governments that are treaty signatories the task of making sure that the ICT policies make adequate provision for disabled persons to have access to ICTs. You should not be excluded from participating in any activity which involves age-related disabilities. So, for example, if you just recently, I saw one news coverage of the plight of visually impaired persons in using ATMs, accessing banking services, and so on, because they have to, and the new money that was an issue too.
But new money, you can't have it on it now.
So they have it.
Have to big up the
but they're saying, like when they go to the ATM to do banking, the dial pad or the machine has not been renovated or retrofitted to allow them full access. To hear that Parliament can't deal with a 88-year-old man with knee issues. No elevator can walk up the stairs, the many stairs, and
okay.
Yeah, that's what he's in this morning's paper. He says, in this morning paper, he's saying that he missed that many appearances because he had extensive rehabilitative therapy on his knees And Parliament's lack of an elevator forced him to miss the sittings. So I'm not resigning. I've given thought to it. I don't think persons should be forced to resign by virtue of age unless the law says this is your term limit, you know? As long as as long as constituents want you and you can serve, willing to serve, you know, you can speak, you're sufficiently ambulatory if you.
But there are some people who do have that though, you know.
What? Who don't have what?
The age, the disability of age. They have some very
Yes. So Mike Henry has reasonable accommodation has to be made. Right. Yeah. But what was the situation with others? What were they saying? Absentee MPs escape expulsion with narrow window for action under House rules.
You, Graham. It's a young man.
You're saying what is his disability?
Yes. It's on the side. What about Denise Daly? She's a young woman.
I'm sure she'll be pleased to hear you say that.
Yes. Yeah, man. Young woman.
Earl Brown says, tongue in cheek, I hope, if you say age is a disability in Canada and USA, you will get yourself in trouble, especially if you refer to a politician. But you know, the policies they've put in to protect the aged, the ancients from discrimination reflects their acknowledgement that age is a disability and you should not be penalized because of it. There should be work opportunities available to you, and there should be reasonable accommodation for age-related impairments on the job. So they might not like to hear it, but they are addressing it well enough, so we don't have to shame them into it. But Jamaica needs to know that age is a disability because age affects, it brings impairment to your vision, your mobility, your hearing, and sometimes the sharpness of your mind.
Yeah, that's true.
But you're not useless. You shouldn't be treated as dead.
No, you can't. No.
So reasonable accommodations are required to ensure that the elders are protected. Right now, we need more laws. Right now, we need more laws protecting our elders. We do.
Why we're gonna put more laws in place and we're not?
We don't have any to protect our elders. It is really free flowing Thursday. You know? He's prompting me. He's herding me back to the issue where the government says, "No, I cannot accommodate you because there's a law against that."
We're not even enforce the law,
the big question is, why are you calling the law's name when you don't enforce laws?
The ones that you have.
Anyway.
Or you break the ones that we have anyway.
The way you break, you're calling the law's name in
the law. That's a new one. Calling the laws. But here's what is happening with this.
So many persons. What was
she's saying that they have said numerous requests to Parliament for data clarification. And Gary Curtis is the clerk of the House of Representatives, has not responded.
So who sent requests?
Gleaner, because when it was a big headline, you know, and it outlined only one person had a clean, good scorecard, you know, Moreland, the guy from Western.
And that was the first time I was hearing his name. And he had 100% attendance.
And he said, "This is my duty."
Yes, he spoke beautifully about it, actually. He said, "That is why I'm elected. I have to be there. I make it my point of business to be there."
They could have been, according to this, you know, some of them should have just automatically been kicked out. But
you know, Percy, you made such a great point when you said, why talk about the law when you... Listen to this. This is a rule of the House. A member who misses more than 6 consecutive sittings during a period not exceeding 21 days shall vacate his seat in the lower house under Section 41 of the Constitution Ordering Council, 1962. However, that provision is subject to the member failing to obtain a leave of absence and within 15 days after the period of the aforesaid to satisfy the Speaker in writing that such failure was unavoidable.
Have they satisfied?
Have they satisfied the speaker?
You see, that's why we're telling you. Say it as a joke, you know. What you say, the Lord? Because the Lord name in vain. Not the Lord, you know, the Lord name in vain. It's unfortunate. It is. And thanks to the Gleaner for doing that, but they said they can't get the records.
But they've done enough for Jamaicans to be sensitized to the lack of good order in the house. When the Prime Minister says code of conduct and describes them as having the highest level of authority and seniority in the nation, so that they should set their own code of conduct. No one should write for them because they are the highest level of power. And this is what they're doing.
Yeah, but
they're not even obeying the rules of their own house.
But gentle lady.
Yes.
But with
never been called gentle, but I accept.
You're a gentle lady. But I'm just saying too, this is what we're talking about. One rule for me, one rule for you. If they can't self-regulate, how do they expect Jamaicans to regulate themselves? This is part of the injustice in the system. So I'm just saying, why? And then he was one of the persons who resigned as a shadow person. And then saying, you're crossing, you Graham. KP guy. You went to cross? You're crossing.
He's obviously lost the desire and the appetite to be in the house, and they should just let him go.
It's unfortunate. Yeah.
You know, this year and this issue alone could reconfigure government.
Meaning?
This issue. If you were to deal rightly with the non-attendance and put the rules in effect.
Yeah. Some people would go home. And
those MPs would be expelled. And you would have to have by-elections.
Right.
If you allowed it to run its course. This right here. And, you know, even in terms of, see, like how when I practiced law and the way I was trained to practice, all of your strategies had to be operating at multiple levels. And there's a level at which you look for technical and procedural points to reshape the face of whatever it is you're doing.
Correct.
So on the opposition, the parliamentary opposition should be guarding the attendance register to see when it gets to the stage where you should be calling for a by-election in certain constituencies. You know, if you were operating it as a fine art,
yeah,
you
by the
would be
time
looking
reaching,
to
boom,
see,
it just trigger it.
How you mean?
Just trigger, boom.
Call for the by-election.
The Prime
Raise it in the House.
Yeah, because that would have triggered it.
Yeah, and then what you would see now is a Speaker of the House receiving, it would expose the bias in a speaker who, when faced with the possibility of a by-election in a constituency of her party, since we have a lady speaker, if every time she got explanations for absenteeism, she ruled in favor of her party member, you'd have another conversation to get into, to maintain order, to maintain principled operations in the House, where the integrity of those who operate in Parliament would be on full display. Just saying, if I were in the opposition, I would be guarding that register. One, it would also force persons who know that you are using it as a strategy to be in attendance and to do their work. You know what I see the Americans do when I pay attention to their carryings on? I see them tracking how people vote and bringing it up at various points in time to demonstrate a person's competence or capability.
Yeah. All right, you see, you do this, but this is what your record is.
How many motions did you put on the table during your tenure? Because as Dr. Barnett was pointing out, Lloyd Barnett was pointing out that MPs are there to lobby for the welfare of their constituencies. which means you're raising questions, you're putting motions on the table to bring the focus of the House on things which would benefit your people. And we don't see, I think Mike Henry is most noted for the reparations issue that he has championed. I see one of our listeners.
And then with Fitz with this banking.
MP Fitz Jackson.
Because that's in the courts now.
Not only that, do not leave out of your calculations what's happening in NCB.
Oh, yeah.
There's more to come.
Yes.
Because as they say when elephants war, as the titans begin to
what happened? The answer, the rats must come out of the room.
Things gonna fall to the ground, man. The earth is gonna be shaken. What's happening with NCB? Because even from my reading of it,
Observer had a full page with Mike Hilton on the front yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah, the whole front page.
You mean Patrick Hilton?
Patrick Hilton.
Oh, he can afford to buy the front page. With $13.8 billion of money in the mix, people not going placing sit down and take it. You see them in the paper saying negotiations. They are placing in the narrative an expectation that a negotiation will take place that will see them profiting hugely from whatever it is in the mix, and we see $13.8 billion. But we have a billionaire who I'm sure have more than 13.8 billion Jamaican dollars under his belt. And I don't think...
missing billions of US dollars.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to just roll over and let two people that he sent home summarily walk out of his bank with $13.8 billion.
You mean it might be a long drawn out thing?
I don't see it happening. No, because it might not be long and drawn out, because in the financial industry, any long drawn out fight hurts the confidence that you have in the sector. So I expect quick and brutal.
You think them now get nothing?
Well, not nothing, but I pray that they are treated the way they have treated others. Let me put it that way. Because scriptural, the same measure that you use to give to others,
you're going to come back
to be used with you. Yes.
Because as they talk about that bank in particular, you go to the bank one day and they'd wake up and say, oh, we have a cost center, we're looking at the bottom line. And them just send on people somewhere people in the bank were saying.
Remember, their issues have gone to the court repeatedly concerning their treatment, pension, remuneration.
Yeah.
In the last 2 decades, the 20 years of his leadership, there have been some issues which reflected how he has treated matters pertaining to the welfare of his staff, and the same measure that he used to treat his staff is going to come back. The honor you give is the honor you receive.
Right, unfortunately.
So it will be so. 8 o'clock break now, we can take our own break.
Bess FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
BBC News, I'm John Shea. The co-hosts of the Women's Football World Cup, New Zealand, have opened the tournament with a 1-0 victory against Norway. The Eden Park Stadium in Auckland was packed with the biggest crowd ever to attend a football match in the country. The co-hosts Australia are currently leading 1-0 in extra time against the Republic of Ireland in Sydney. Here's Shaima Khalil.
What a first day, what an opening to that tournament, and that win by New Zealand against Norway. After the day they've had, remember, this day started with this shock of the news about the shooting in Auckland just hours before the start of that kickoff. And it happened not very far from where some of the teams were staying. Norway's captain, actually, before the game said that the team members woke up to the sound of helicopters hovering over them. Fast forward to a few hours, they were on the pitch, and then New Zealand delivering that win.
It's been deeply disturbed by the alleged sexual assault on women in northeastern Manipur state. The Supreme Court in India says it's been deeply disturbed by the alleged sexual assault on women in northeastern Manipur state during the ethnic violence there in May. The court's intervention came after a video surfaced on social media purporting to show two women from an ethnic minority group being paraded naked by a mob. The footage has triggered widespread anger in India. The Iraqi government has informed Sweden that it would cut diplomatic relations if there were to be any repeat of the burning of the Quran that took place in Stockholm last month. Sebastian Usher reports.
After an emergency security meeting convened by the Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani, his office has issued a strong statement accusing the Swedish authorities of having a persistently provocative stance towards the beliefs and sanctities of others. The statement did also condemn the storming of a Swedish embassy in Baghdad, in which hundreds of supporters of a powerful Shia cleric Muqtada al-Sadr broke into the compound in protest at reports that a second burning of the Quran might be about to take place in Sweden. No embassy staff were reported to have been injured, but the Swedish Foreign Minister Tobias Billström described the incident as completely unacceptable.
Russia has carried out further missile and drone strikes on port cities in southern Ukraine. Here's Danny Eberhard.
This overnight barrage involved many cruise missiles, in addition to the cheaper, less sophisticated explosive drones. The military indicated it only shot down about a quarter of the missiles, a far lower percentage than it claimed for the drones. Officials in Odessa said an administrative building and warehouses were hit, following strikes targeting port infrastructure and grain terminals the night before. In Mykolaiv, photos show a wrecked three-storey building.
This is the latest world news from the BBC. A landslide triggered by heavy rains in the western Indian state of Maharashtra has killed at least 12 people. Dozens of villagers are feared buried under the rubble. A member of the rescue team has died of cardiac arrest while carrying out relief work in a remote village in the district of Raigad. The emergency teams were battling lashing rain. One of the biggest pharmaceutical factories in the world has been damaged by a tornado. The Pfizer plant in North Carolina in the US produces anesthetics and other drugs and almost a quarter of all sterile injectable medications used in US hospitals. Photographs of the plant show large areas of roofing ripped away and twisted. A clean-up operation is underway in parts of the Balkans after violent storms that followed a heatwave swept through the region, killing at least 5 people. 3 people were killed by falling trees in Croatia, where winds in excess of 170 kilometres an hour were recorded. A US country music star, Jason Aldean, has denied claims that his new video is an anti-Black Lives Matter anthem that promotes lynching. The video was filmed in front of a building where a young black man was lynched in 1927. Andrew Ochieng has the details.
Critics have said the clips in the video, some of which seem to have been taken at Black Lives Matter protests, combined with the lyrics, are racist and promote gun violence. Some of them show masked protesters clashing with police, Molotov cocktails, and a burning American flag, as well as CCTV of robberies. Jason Aldean then sings, "Try that in a small town and see how far you'll get down the road." He talks of a gun his granddad gave him and communities full of good old boys raised upright. Aldean, though, says the song has nothing to do with race, but is instead a celebration of small-town values, and that all the clips used are real news clips.
field of STEM studies, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Apply for a STEM scholarship for the opportunity to get qualified to pursue a rewarding career as a STEM teacher. Find out more at www.mof.gov.jm/scholarships. Sign up for a STEM scholarship today. Conditions apply.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-3825-8 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
Half a tree, 100, half a tree. Bossy, how we do I take taxi star?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? Yeah, waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. Yeah, hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me send you.
You big star. Yeah, man. Respect my boss.
I try and call you, cause trust me.
Auto Spares and Repairs, good afternoon.
What a relief.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-time taxi service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
From anywhere at all. You can call us at 926-3866.
We are something special on the road.
Let me son help you. Get healthy, my friends. Stay balanced. Tune into this station, Bess FM 100, every Saturday morning, 8 o'clock to 9, for this wonderful program, Your Health Today, with me, Dr. Clarion Palmer. Yes, get healthy, get healthy, get healthy. Stay balanced. Bess FM 100, Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, with me, Dr. P. Get healthy.
We're just a click away. www.bestfm.com. Streaming live on the internet.
And love more, 'cause you open up the door.
Live, camera, volume. Live It Up Fridays on Bess 100 FM, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. with I, Ibi Lion, each and every Friday, giving you the better vibes heard everywhere.
Goodness mercy, it's me again, Lord. Your restorer, your game changer. Join me every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and Bess FM 100. It's Apostle Clive Campbell, aka the Khaki Suit Man, coming to you from 8 to 12 Aaron Street, also Richmond District, Mandeville. Embrace the change.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minett and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Bess 100 FM.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
who has hurt all mankind, just to save his soul, believe one love. What about a one heart? What about let's get together and feel alright? As it was in the beginning, one love. So shall it be in the end. One heart. Alright. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. One more thing. Let's get together to fight this holy Armageddon. One love. So when the man comes, there will be no doom. One soul. Have pity on those whose chances grow thinner. There ain't no hiding place from the Father of creation. Yeah, yeah. One love. What about the one heart? What about the let's get together and feel alright? I'm playing to mankind. One love. One heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's come and get together. 1, 2, 3. Wake up and live your. Wake up and live. Wake up and live now. Wake up and live. Life is one big road with lots of signs. So when you're riding through the ruts, don't you complicate your mind. Flee from hate, mischief and jealousy. Don't bury your thought, put your vision to reality. Yeah. All together now, wake up and live. Wake up and live. Wake up and live. Yeah. Wake up and live now. Wake up and live. Rise, ye mighty people. Yeah. There's work to be done, so let's do it a little by little. Rise from your sleepless slumber. Yes, 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 yes. We're more than sand and the seashore. We're more than numbers. All together now. Wake up and live. Wake up and live.
Welcome back. 8:21 this morning. Oh, it's 8:21. It was a long break. Very long break. But welcome again. Morning Connection, live at the Ligani Club. The sun is coming out, Percival. Have you noticed?
Yes.
The day has just brightened considerably. Very happy to see it. Percival and I are, as usual, ranging freely through the issues that we have tackled in the past 3 days.
We're just looking at close call.
And
the Parliament and the fact that...
Yeah, this morning Percy showed up with the Sunday Gleaner, his favorite articles. And we were talking that, under the Constitution and based on the standing orders, the rules of the House Parliament, you could literally change the face of your government if you were abiding by the rules, because we've seen the attendance record of the parliamentarians, the MPs, and noticed that quite a few of them would be eligible for expulsion from the House. Now, if an MP is expelled from the House, his constituency would be unrepresented and a by-election would be needed to ensure that the constituency gains new representation. That could change the fortunes of a political party.
Yeah, but remember though, suppose they were to follow that rule.
Yes.
And you have by-elections.
Yes.
You can only call by-elections if the Prime Minister call it.
Well, you mean the Prime Minister could flout the rules of Parliament
Which and done in the past,
and leave constituencies unrepresented.
Right, well, we having it in the municipal council.
Yeah, but they don't go to Parliament.
No, but I'm just saying, but even then, in terms of calling the parish council, the Prime Minister, and he was the person who calls the by-elections.
Right.
And if it is not in his favor.
But remember, he sets the date.
Yeah.
So the date has to be set. But could he abdicate his responsibility altogether and not do it? That's why you have the court.
Yeah, but
that's why you have the court.
But they've done it in the past on both sides. A by-election, somebody has died, and they're waiting, and so why not call it? You're all different kind of.
Yeah, but you come back to
constitution.
A government, any high official will get away with whatever excessive behavior the people tolerate.
I think we have tolerated too much excessive behavior in the
It would be our tolerance for that kind of action that could cause them to get away with it. Which takes me to the next article that you favored. Miss Imani Duncan, that's her name?
Imani
Duncan Price.
That's his DK Duncan's daughter.
PNP royalty. Or would you say? Depends if Duncan
royalty
is a favored son or not.
I used to be, but and then she ran in East Central. She was Central Kingston. Yeah, she was the candidate. And then Mr. Williams beat her.
But then she's also withdrawn from the field as caretaker. Right. Okay, so this is a girl who grew up with politics.
In our vein.
In our bloodline.
And her sister is in politics too.
Oh, which sister is that?
One that named Sutherland, married named Sutherland.
She has recently offered herself as a contender in St. Anne, I think.
But she lost.
Yeah.
The guy who was the thing. But she was there.
It's in the DNA.
It's in the DNA.
It's in the DNA. And she wrote an article as a guest columnist in the Sunday Gleaner. The headline is "Cut the Umbilical Cord of Politics." What attracted you to her opinion in that? What did you like about it or not like?
No, the umbilical cord of politics. I was thinking of the politics between the
You're thinking of tribalism.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought. But she wasn't writing about tribalism. She was writing about something of a slightly different order, where I think umbilical cord is a misnomer.
Okay.
Because what she describes as the umbilical cord, in biology, the cord is what connects you to your mother. It is, and it's not symbiotic in nature, it's parasitic. Isn't it? The child draws from the mother like a parasite.
It is true. It is true.
Aha, okay. So she says the umbilical cord is that connection between the Prime Minister and the parliamentarians who apparently circle him for
for blessings and favors.
Right.
We don't have to paraphrase because she have it right there, and I don't want to go outside of it. But apparently, she was quoting her father. She says, she begins with a quote from her dad. If you want a truly representative and effective parliament that acts on behalf of the people of Jamaica and not in the interest of their political party, we have to cut the umbilical cord of politics. This is D.K. Duncan, circa 1993, a whole century ago.
That's 30 years ago? Yeah.
That's what it is, yeah.
30 years ago.
The umbilical cord in politics is the direct and strong line that connects the majority parliamentarians to the prime minister. Right. It's not an analogy that holds true, I think, when you understand what the Constitution says.
And the Constitution says, according to the executive powers, according to
I can barely
chapter
hear you.
6,
Are you hearing
according
over
to
there?
chapter 6,
Yes.
under the Constitution, the Governor General is required to appoint as Prime Minister the member of the House of Representatives who's best able to command the support of a majority of the members of that House. He then selects and so on, and he has a power to advance. But what the point that you raised is that that's not really true, because it means that you know that if it was close, say we are on different sides of the house, and it was like it was what? It was 63, so it was like 31, 32 or something like that.
Yeah.
If we could have just
persuade 2 or 3 persons to
sign, and then
one of those 3 can say, I'll jump if you make me Prime Minister.
Which has
or
happened in
Deputy
some
Prime
countries.
Minister. Which we've seen it happen in the Eastern Caribbean states all the time.
So it means then that
the real power is in the hands of those
parliamentarians
who need, in the parliamentarians, because at any time they can run a coup. And what is sad for Jamaica is that such a coup could change the leadership of your country without coming back to the polls.
Right. That is, and so it begs the question in terms of constitutional reform and who is the head of government. As we say, we're going to put away the queen or the king, the representative.
The queen left.
The queen has gone on to better things.
The queen left the greener pastures.
What does that mean? Because we're doing this constitutional reform, and I asking myself the question, that who...
If you want to know what it means, Earl Brown just wrote it. He said, that's why Jamaica need a new constitution for Jamaicans, by Jamaicans. Made in Jamaica. No, but all of us who are advocating for that level of transformation say the head of your state should be elected, not selected by the entire cohort after
which is what they
general
did in
elections.
Barbados and voted for them.
You must vote for your head of state. In the other republics do it. You vote for who's your prime minister. You can vote for who's your president too, which I think we should. The president shouldn't be some, rubber stamping personality that does whatever the prime minister says under the guise of a consultation.
It is true.
What Imani, Mrs. Duncan Price, is describing as an umbilical cord, which is really not an umbilical cord, but what she's describing is a connection in which the prime minister has such weight and power that everybody else have to suck up to him in order to get
something for them,
a ministry or something for your placement that is lucrative and give you status. In biology, the parasite is reviled and is to be got rid of. We thank our mothers for not expelling us. I mean, I'm laughing, but we have to be grateful to the women who persevered and carried their children full term. A child is a very vulnerable thing at the end of an umbilical cord.
Because all the nutrition and everything
comes directly from the mother. The mother is host. But if permitted, she can. That's why the abortionists are so rabid in their determination that women shouldn't have the right. It's an existential cry when you say, please, 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 bring the babies, bring the babies. Without the babies, mankind will perish. True. Without babies, societies eventually die out. Think of all the tribes that once graced the face of the earth that no longer exists.
They kill off the babies or they kill off the women.
Whichever, by whatever method. By whatever method. You know, so in some cases, harsh living conditions cause the people to, you know, get sick and have difficulty recovering, and eventually malnutrition and those kind of hardships impair fertility.
Yeah, they do.
Stress. See, all the stress that you put on the nation, it impairs fertility. And even in terms of people having the ability to function and to learn and to excel and so on, all those things are impaired by stress. So growth of the nation, of the economy and so on.
We're a stressed country.
We're under great stress.
So you're saying when I saw that, I thought it was the umbilical cord between the politicians and the gangs and things,
Right,
but it's not really that.
Yeah, she says she's speaking about what is happening. She's speaking about on the floor where MPs do their work. MPs are too careful of the Prime Minister from whom they feed to truly represent their constituencies.
So in that way, what she has put out is important. It's a very important
She's
part.
exposed the reality in the House, just like how we have seen how absenteeism, how high
it is.
It is. And we understand that if they're not there, they can't be working for us. So that is a concern. We're now hearing from someone who sat in the House that the relationship is so sycophantic that persons...
What word they mean? Stop it. What word they mean again?
They're sycophants. They suck up.
in simple terms, yes.
They're suckers.
They suck up to
They
him,
suck up
whatever.
to the Prime
Yes, Minister. Anything except Prime Minister. And they do have independent
Yeah, you
thought.
don't. So you're not speaking from conscience. You're not thinking about the will of the people, the benefit of the people. You're thinking, how can I stay in the Prime Minister's good books so I can get something?
It's interesting. I can get something. So
Yeah.
that's an umbilical cord.
That's the one. She speak of it that way.
And I can understand why the UIC were their way of doing it. They are saying in terms of how Parliament is structured, it becomes important. Yes.
All right, we've blown past our 8:30 break moment, so I'm just waiting on the signal. But what she describes, I always love it when parliamentarians, people who have served in the House, speak truth about the experience. And we have said we're going to get a certain senator who recently
Former senator, yeah.
resigned from his position to sit with us one morning, perhaps next Thursday.
Yeah.
We can organize that. I'm very curious, what inspires you to serve, and then what's your actual experience as you serve? I've often found that you have a lot more power and influence during courtship. Watch Percy face. You as a man who do premarital counseling, don't you understand what I'm saying? You have a lot more power and influence when they're courting your participation. You can say, well, I'll only come if the carpet is red. I'll only come if you serve tea twice for the day. You know, you can set some rules and some standards. And you think...
Maybe, you know, maybe better you say it than me, you know, because me did say
so, you think it's a woman saying it?
No, like yesterday you said something about the woman.
Yes, and Jamaica is like a pretty girl who give mixed signals.
Yes.
Everybody knows it's true.
But you know,
especially because Jamaica pretty bad. Yeah, especially because Jamaica hot. Everybody would want to be associated with Jamaica. So Jamaica can be a diva.
Right.
Jamaica can say, I want white flowers every morning on the table.
Everybody wants a piece of Jamaica.
Yeah. So Jamaica can say, well, I'm only coming if, you know, the rooms are painted red and there's reggae music at dinner. We can set any kind of standard for certain things. If a Jamaican athlete is being courted for an event, one of the star athletes, no? To show up at your first time ever.
You set your fee.
Yeah.
So like when Usain Bolt was getting more money in appearance.
To appear, yes.
Appearance versus if you won the event.
Yes, of course.
Because it was Usain Bolt. And they would fill up stadiums. Yeah.
Can I tell you, where were we? We were doing something, crossing a border somewhere. And
Turkey? Turkish border.
Well, okay, let me describe it as best I can. No. It was in South Africa, and there was a police checkpoint. And the driver of the car, we got a substitute driver at the last minute. And the driver of the car, her registration disc was not up to date. And 3 of us Jamaicans sitting in the back. And she was explaining in her language to them that she's taking these Jamaicans to the airport. And I just hear the policeman in their language. I hear Usain Bolt. In fact, what I thought it was something else he was saying. And it's Lowell who said to me, just said Usain Bolt. And we were just flagged along, merrily on our way to the airport in some part of South Africa we were.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, Jamaica have power to draw attention.
Jamaica, I know.
Jamaica. So
I went to Australia and I told that experience.
Yeah, okay. So I was right when I said Jamaica is like, the hot girl, the pretty girl who give mixed signals. And so America has put an awkward question to us.
Like how you put it. I put an awkward question to us.
We have to be,
I wonder, really?
Yeah, we have to be saying, I know I let you think I'm open to that, but I'm not really open to that. So now there's embarrassment. Yeah, I'm dramatic. Yeah. That's exactly what happened to us. We're out there going on like we're all things to all men. And somebody put a question that we turn out that, I really can't say yes to that.
You have to describe it, it's funny though. But it's funny, but true.
It is exactly so, Percy.
No, from a male perspective, here, there,
you understand it?
Go on. And she's getting all of the signs. I say, everything, the ducks are lining, it's ticking out, the ducks lining up, and then they go, and she go, where you get that from? Where you get that from?
No, she's offended because you think she's easy.
Yeah. No. It's a no.
So no, I actually have a law against that.
Because you have not been consistent.
Yeah, man. You don't send out your mixed signals.
No,
okay,
sir.
So we know it's a very serious issue. And you've heard Percy and myself talk about it on Tuesday, on Wednesday. Because it's free-flowing Thursday, we're approaching it with a bit of humor. But you're living and you're mature, some of you understand what I'm saying. We cannot be all things to all men. We must be clear about who we are and what we stand for. We can't just out of the blue say, I actually have a law against that, when you've been behaving as if you're lawless.
You don't have no laws. You just anything goes.
Anything goes.
Yes. Anything goes. No, sir. No, Baba.
So how did you get me into that? I don't even remember.
Are you? I don't know. That's why I'm saying you can go and you can say anything you want, but not I. But I'm just saying, just in regards to that. But the deeper issue is, you see this thing of integrity?
Yeah, man.
Of purpose, like my friend said.
Biting us all over our body.
Yes. Because for a very long time, let's pull back all of the things that have happened. Would you say, is it a country for sale?
Country for sale. You never say, is it? Would you say country for sale? Come check out what's on the...
When you think about country for sale, you heard what happened yesterday, that the government in Parliament, for 2 years, have said that they are not going to take from Widalco, which is Rusal in Yorktown, the levy. So they're giving up
It's like a 2% or something.
No, man, $5 million. It would have worked out to be, based on what they were saying, $5 million 1 year thing. But then, on another station, the man said first, I hear that the only time I hear about it is when it was in Parliament. This is the person who represents the workers.
Wow.
To say, no, we never know about that. And then he's saying, let us do our due diligence. Because he says, in 2018, between 2010 and 2018, the government gave up $64 million, Mr. Morrison, in terms of bauxite levy. And then in 2018, they make everybody redundant. Bring them back. Lower pay, no overtime, no benefits, no pension. They might say, really? And we're giving that up. Then the minister was saying on one hand, well, the wage package like 24 million, and they're gonna, and the exports is.
Are we
about
talking
100.
about a company that is majority owned by government?
No, we're talking about a private company.
Yes, but is government a stakeholder in? Is it Windalco?
Windalco, they are a stakeholder in Jamaica, which is sold the other day for $1 US.
All right, so worse then. We are allowing private sector owners to, we give them benefits, and then they are predatory in their treatment of the workers.
Outside of that, they're going to have to close.
Then they should close. So why is it that you and I would have to close our business if those certain adversities reach us, but a foreign investor gets to get a tax break and treat the workers badly?
Yeah, because
those
are the issues in that. But what surprised me is that if something is happening and this person represents the majority, you should know. It's the first time I hear. I only heard about it like you when the Minister Clark was saying it in Parliament. And I'm saying, and they must trotting out the figures, $120 million US in terms of alumina export. What would have been lost is 600 people. They spin off the community of Yorkton and so on. And you consider that, but you wonder, because you have been saying we have to look back at what is happening in the extractive industry if we're really getting what we need from those.
We're getting our fair share from it. And how dependent do we need to be on it to survive as an economy? But you see, when members of parliament are not showing up to lobby and to represent the interests of their communities in parliament.
That is Hugh Graham constituency.
See?
And
you see how you could make the link right there?
Yeah, because
he's one of the absentee ones.
That is why we need to change.
Yes, sir. I see. You've made a stirring call for constitutional reform.
And it being because these things come as the second chief minister, because I think in terms of, even though he's not deputy prime minister, he's a very powerful minister. They come lobbying and nobody else don't know, because I'm sure the cabinet never know until he made the announcement yesterday.
Because, the Ministry of Finance is one of the ministries that you could say could rightly challenge the prime minister for power in the sharing of power. Because that Ministry of Finance can do all kinds of things behind closed doors, so to speak. And it seems like, I don't know, I don't have the sense that the Prime Minister himself is as closely connected to some of the financial decisions that are made and that have such far-reaching impact.
No, but in all fairness, Clark could not have gone to Parliament and made such an announcement without the Prime Minister knowing about it. Even with a call and say, boss.
Yeah, that's the making of the announcement.
Yeah.
But you and I know that a lot of work goes into developing a position before it becomes policy. And it's why we join the teachers in their call for deeper insight into the report and the assumptions which went into their wage transformation.
Up to now, nobody, they can't see the report, the $1 billion report.
The one that Mr. Clark says
Ernest Young,
he didn't know that anyone was blocking it and it's available.
So the question is, has it been released? So remember, I went in Parliament, so we should ask Helen Davis why, because we need to bring it on the news cycle.
Or Mrs. Harrison.
Yeah.
Because they ought to have seen it.
They asked for it and they still can't get it because remember, them say them thinking potentially of going to court with the Ministry of Finance in terms of some of the issues.
If they are going to court, they would have to refer to the report and the terms of reference which went to the consultant to expose either the irrelevant considerations or the inaccurate assumptions and the weaknesses in the foundation of what was done as a possible explanation for the unjust result that they have experienced.
Yeah,
I mean, if I were doing that case, I would want to start by doing just that, exposing that these assumptions are wrong. false premises have been used as a foundation for the calculations. Some of the, and if there are inaccuracies, you pick them out. Because
if you make decision based on false,
right, and irrelevant
you're going down the road. You're going down the road.
You would have acted unfairly.
Yeah, but you know what and I'm just hearing that conversation. She says when the government told them years ago 80% of what is market, and they said 12 billion was available, they are saying now with this report, it is the same 12 billion available, but it's based on 50% of market. How can that be? I remember the plan long term was to move them close to market.
Right, and I think they were at it was what, 80%?
80% years when they did it and they gave up. No.
So, if you're watching that issue, I want you to bear in mind that the courts of this land have already set some foundation principles for the evaluation of government conduct when they are either exercising their discretion or carrying out statutory duties. So if the teachers were to go to court on this matter, a part of what they would be showing is that the result of the assessment defies rationality, that it is unreasonable, that it did not accord with the usual principles of natural justice, that it may have even breached some of the constitutional safeguards. You know that just the treatment of labor and a person being fairly compensated, it's a part of your rights and freedom, fundamental rights and freedom. Right now, at the United Nations level, the Charter of Human Rights has embraced viewing your work as a part of your cultural output, to which you are entitled to share fairly in the economic benefits that are derived from it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes, it's one of the anti-slavery recognitions, because in slavery, you work, you not get no pay, and the value of your output is taken and carried off to prosper and benefit another economy, another country, like when you had sugar here. So there's been that recognition now that your cultural expression, whether it is your music, your cuisine, your art, but also because it started as the move to distance ourselves from the enslavement of people, your labor. You are in there building the People Hotel by your good service, your love and care for the guests, and creating this ambience that sells, becomes the unique selling point for somebody's brand. Yet, when they make the billions, they barely even want to give you a salary increase, a lunch allowance, or any of the things that would show you to be participating in the wealth that is derived from your work. I loved workers' rights and trade unionism. You know, when I was studying law, I had a passion for it, but I couldn't see how I could
make a money out of that.
No, I didn't see where. It wasn't about money. It's how would I work. Trade unions typically are based on deals and have their internal succession. You couldn't just come out and join a trade union at the executive level, or, you know.
You have to work your way up
and the way that I saw lawyers doing labor law, like at my firm where, you know, they had a practice in labor law, you were dealing with employers. You were never dealing with the workers. Yeah. If you think about, of course.
The might and the power was against the poor, the slave.
Employers can hire lawyers. Employees that scratch to get a good shop floor representative. So trade unionism has not gone the path that I think it could in Jamaica, because the workers are always too poor to get the best of anything.
Representation.
Yeah. And the ones who you'll see labor in the field representing workers, they have to be remunerated out of the fees, the dues that are paid, and you know, so that can be no big money. Or they have political ambitions. So it becomes their training ground for growth in politics. I didn't have political ambitions. I really just wanted to be
able to help.
a part of building a jurisprudence and a culture that protect workers' rights. So I loved it when I was studying, but I couldn't see where I would go with it as a career.
Yeah, it wasn't a politician.
Yeah, coming home. But you know what? The Lord has promised that the latter rain will be way more abundant
the former rain.
than the former rain. So who knows? I still have that interest. There are things we can do.
You know, as you speak about labor, the minister responsible for digitization,
yes,
and thing said there need to have a strategy for skills development, because that is our portfolio operating out of the office.
Was it in yesterday's paper that she spoke about this? That they reported on her speech in the House.
Yeah,
because it's her. I'm gonna find it first.
Speech.
I was curious about what she said.
And then now, previous to that, Mr. Erickson of the Butch Erickson of the national fame was saying that boy, there was Hendrickson was reporting that boy, we have to import labor if we need to do it. Now, people are gonna say, boy, we really need to...
Percy, you miss out one leg. It's a three-legged horse. You had the head of Hart saying that the amendment to the Treaty of Chaguaramas, which allows truly free movement of labor across borders, means that Jamaica is going to lose her skilled laborers who are highly coveted in other places. And so we are going to have a labor crisis. So let's stitch the three pieces together. Hart says we're going to lose people because a treaty now makes it possible for our people. She says that the certification by Hart is highly coveted.
Around the world.
So
I know people going to Canada all over the place because it's part of the Commonwealth.
So she says now people have more opportunities outside of Jamaica. They're going to go. What did Hendrickson say?
He said we're going to have to import.
Okay, which would be a consequence of losing.
And then, I remember the Prime Minister said it with the old hotel building that they don't have
the skilled artisans.
And even E.G. Hunter was saying that he was hoping with the highway and the use of the local contractors that they scale up.
And then, Miss, what's her name? Dixon, Norris, whatever. The new Prime Minister without portfolio.
No, she
has spoken to her.
She have skills and digitization.
But when they're in the premises office, they don't have portfolio. They have assignment.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
You didn't know that?
No, me just tongue in cheek.
Oh. All right. So let me find what she was saying, because what I found interesting about it, I said, so the Prime Minister is moving Education Ministry into his office? Him have Hart, which plays a massive role in educating the nation with skills training. Now he has this lady who says her job is to create a strategy for the training and education of targeted skills.
Oh boy.
Then you have the Ministry of Education out there with teacher shortage and a whole set of problems that obviously we're trying to say, let's go with the new kid. That 60-year-old one is way too troublesome. The Ministry of Education is one of our oldest ministries.
Yeah, I know.
So, you are what I see shaping is, let's focus, and now we start to talk about STEAM and getting vocational training in schools at an earlier age. Vocational training, is a heart.
I know,
oriented.
And that's why I tell you, you see...
We're stumbling over ourselves.
It's not stumbling over ourselves. You know what it is? If them don't recognize that God has set a strategy. I'm sorry, I'm leaving up to me imagination. Which is what I see happening. Yes. I keep saying it because if they were to really sit down and assess, they would say to themselves, we need some wisdom in the situation. And James said, if you lack it, ask me.
Ask for it. And God will give generously. Without question. Him not going to say, now you again, didn't I just give you wisdom? What did you do with it? He's not going to say, you too fool, forget so much wisdom.
No, man. If you see, because there's wisdom that is needed for the different situations. So, but you have some because she has said, go down to, no, that is utter rubbish, you know.
Which one?
No.
New lady?
No, we never take she on yet. We talk about the Minister of Education saying that they need to carry vocational training to primary school. And the primary school are not proper resource to teach the children the basics.
Yeah.
And you're going to move vocational training. What kind of foolishness is that? Is it tell her that?
So you mean then the Prime Minister is right to bring things into his own house and ignore what the Ministry of Education is up to? Because they're too troublesome.
Because they're not dealing with it. And I, you know, I am just reflecting. Somebody said something to me and I'm ruminating in like a cow in my mind.
It's in your cod.
Yeah, I think about it and I say, you know, when you think about this recent flirtatious thing with Jamaica.
And the US?
Yes. And you think about what is happening in education and the fact that there is not a clear, coherent
philosophy.
Think about what is happening in education and the fact that there is not a clear, coherent philosophy of how we deal with it. And you think in terms of the loss of personnel because they're moving out. The senior teachers gone. The only people you're finding in thing is those who just recently come out of
training college.
Because you must have heart. You must have a heart. You must
NTSA?
have no, man. You must have a heart.
The bloody organ.
Yes, you must have heart of thinking about situations right, having a moral compass.
Yeah.
And the lack of a moral compass, as skilled as you are now, when I was heading up this institution for about 8 years. When I went
PDI?
I said, hold on, I'm training these people, but they can't keep a job. They don't have no sense of purpose. How do you give people a sense of purpose? You know, I have to go back to
basic
in terms of how you see yourselves. And I'm saying, so if you take out the experienced teachers, you don't have a clear philosophy. No pure chaos then.
Well, let me tell you, this lady, Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, has her own philosophy.
Which is
now, it is, I share some of what she says, but let's think of the point you just made. That institution you were at, PDI, took persons in their late teens, early 20s.
Yeah,
and really, I suppose, any age.
Second chance, yeah.
Right, second chance.
Or third chance.
Or third, whatever age, but you have left the traditional school system now. You're out, you have aged out of that cohort. We are constantly doing planning at that level because we failed to capture the hearts, minds, intellect of our children at the earlier levels. That's why even the Patterson report says early childhood is where you gotta spend your biggest money. This is not what they said, but they said that's where you need to put your strong focus. Whether the money follow it or not is debatable. Here we are now in the almost departure lounge, and this is where we are now introducing a philosophy.
Well, we're in the
when we come back,
departure lounge, yeah.
When we get back from our break, we're going to take the 9 o'clock break now. I'll share with you the philosophy that is now emerging from the Prime Minister's office regarding the preparation of our workforce, our people to work, to earn, to live, and to be prosperous. There's a philosophy that you will see it in what this new lady has said. We'll be right back. Best 100 of them is the one. You're simply the best.
You're simply the best. Best FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Vijam Printers, your best choice in printing.
Looking to clean your vehicle super clean? 123 Clean Car Wash, located at 2 1/4 Osborne Road, Kingston 10. Entrance on Grove Road, below Tropical Battery. They wash and vacuum, undercarriage wash, engine wash, polish and compound, shampoo and detailing. Call them at 876-631-3400. 123 Clean Car Wash, the best in the business for a cleaner wash.
Believe me, it's so easy.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-3825-8 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-time taxi service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
From anywhere at all. You can call us on 926-3866.
We are something special on the road.
Yes, Jamaica and the world. You want us back? We are back. The True Deliverance Ministry, led by me, the prophet Mark Stewart, right here on Best 100 FM. This and every Thursday night, from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. Yes, it's War Room Thursday. Come on out and join us, each and every one, on Best 100 FM, 100.1, 357 and 9. Come on out. Join me, the prophet, Reverend Mark Stewart, and of course, the boss shot, Apostle Marshall. Come for your healing, breakthrough, deliverance, the prayer, the miracle, the word, the testimony, and so much more. Yes, my friends, Best 100 FM, Best 100 FM, War Room Thursday, 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. Join us. We are going to lick it till it busts.
Ready for the war here.
Best 100 FM presents the Mature and Moving Up Show with Lascelles Butch Chen on Thursdays from 6 to 9 p.m. Welcome to this pioneering radio program on our continuing worth in our maturing years, compellingly defined to educate and liberate the younger generation. Tune in and welcome.
Having trouble getting parts for your Mazda? Maljam Auto Parts is your solution. Find Maljam at the new and convenient location off Upper Waltham Park Road at 9 Kingswood Avenue. Maljam Auto Parts, with over 25 years experience, providing all Mazda parts, new and used. Call 923-4389 and 461-1786. Maljam Auto Parts, serving your Mazda needs.
Greetings. I go by the name of Miss Wire Waist. Catch me on Bess 100. I will be discovering the greatness of Jamaica and Jamaicans through people, places, and things, home and abroad. Playing you some good music, along with interviewing artists, soundmen, producers, and Jamaicans making a difference all over the world. So catch me between the hours of 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. Monday to Thursday on Bess 100 FM. One love, one love.
Stepping from across the street, smiling happily with everyone you meet.
Best 100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let
Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
It's good, it's better, but nothing.
The Lord give him an inspiration. Welcome back. We are in our final segment. If you are listening closely, you will hear all the sounds of summer because we are here live at the Ligani Club and it is summertime. And the beautiful future of Jamaica, all of the noisy, sweaty little children that are our
from
precious
3-4 years old up to look
And
like
this
17,
man,
18.
You said 3, I'm sure I saw a toddler.
What is a toddler? 2-3-year-old?
2-3-year-old can walk strong. I see them all ages. They've taken over the place. There's table tennis going on one side. There's some kind of volleyball. There's football.
Swimming,
I know
drumming.
swimming is going on.
Drumming.
It's beautiful though. And I'm very glad to see this 100-and-odd-year-old property filled with black people. A swarm of black people. Yes, because the Ligani Club is part of old colonial Jamaica, where neither women nor black people held places of honor.
You serious? Thought every woman would come because if they have rooms, they must come with the lady. What you saying? he my friend, he must come with the lady. No. You just think a certain.
No, man. Anyway. Women could be on property, but you couldn't be in positions of authority.
Okay, all right.
Because you're quite right. The women complete the prettiness and gentility of the set. But so, the kids are all around, and honestly, it's a bit distracting. Almost as distracting as a summer fly that keeps zipping in and out of the place. Have you seen it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. All right, but before we took the break, Percival and I were talking about what's happening in education, launching from just a little examination of the new senator. We can still call her new senator until maybe the end of the year. But Senator Dixon, Morris Dixon, Dana Morris Dixon, who has a portfolio for, what is it? Skills and digitalization. And so, yeah, she needs to work on changing the name of that portfolio. But
she spoke her maiden
speech in
and
Parliament.
it was not like you're a good friend. Stuff it sent me.
Oh, dear Lord, don't remind me of that. I'm sure he's still regretting the path he took. So, Senator Dr. Dana Morris Dixon spoke. And I was saying to Percival, if you examine what she said, you will see a philosophy for education emerging from the objectives which she cited in her speech. Now, the tragedy is, at the primary, early childhood, primary, secondary school level, senior teachers, administrators are saying the philosophy for our education system is not apparent. What we see needs to be changed because obviously the output is not reflecting the desires of either the employers, the students, the nation.
Nobody at all.
Nobody is pleased with the output from the education.
Let me just put in this
ministry.
input here. And
yes.
Your favorite pastor, Pastor Michael, I call him the
country
yes, pastor.
Yes.
He was saying, you know, it's unfortunate because he's intimately involved in the education. And him say, what we get was an education system that was preparing people to build their empire. And we have
somebody else's empire, not our empire. Right.
And that's how he summed it up for him. Say, we need to just throw away somebody. There are some good things, but we really need to rethink the whole thing.
Percy, you're so right. That's why I don't lose any opportunity. I don't miss an opportunity to emphasize that the education ministry is one of the oldest ministries.
Yes.
We had it before we were independent.
Right. And some of the things that are
yeah,
there.
man, it is set up on a foundation that is actually hostile
to the development
of this country.
Right.
And who don't figure that out yet? I think many people have figured it out, but how to pull it down? You know, in business we talk about a flying change. Like in aero, if you watch acrobats who do the aerial shows, you can do a change from one move to another while in motion.
All right.
Our problem is executing a flying change. We can't shut down the schools and keep the children at their age to wait until we retrofit it. And it has bedeviled us for decades how to execute a change, a handover from one type of approach that don't work to one that we believe could work.
And the flight of our experienced teachers out of our system is not helping it.
Absolutely.
Because the people have the experience who could help, not doing it. And then...
well, it makes it harder because, you know, even as you said, those who have cut their teeth in the old system that was geared to a different outcome, it's not necessarily a bad thing to lose them in a person because some of them are set in their ways and need to acquire new habits.
True.
But it makes the changeover even harder because you have to keep the ship stable while you are making the change.
And then she was pointing out that this ratio that they agreed on, 1 in 25, we're losing it because if we can't teach it. No, we were moving towards it, but now that going through the wind.
As they leave, it's going to be now 1 in 50. All right. So this is what our government is doing, and you got to see it for what it is. Because we can't change, because we're having difficulties making the change, we have gone to the new city that we want to be in, and we are creating policies and philosophy and strategy and agencies and putting money behind the new, while the old one is just there in death throes, so to speak. But dying with it are the hopes, the future, the prospects for a whole generation. Are not getting anything out of the new because the new is trying to address a whole different age group. So the Prime Minister has put in his stable, HEART, NTSA, that collect a fortune. You know, there was a time when I had like 2 members of staff and 50% of my tax was going to HEART for the 2 people. Those are the kinds of things, you know, that make it hard for you to be an employer of a small business. When I saw how much we had to contribute to cover the socials and HEART alone, which is the employer's portion, because employees don't pay. Anyway, I found that unsettling. Look, COVID came and shut down the tiny operation, so that was the end of that. But the Prime Minister has HEART, and he has created a new desk for Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, which is within his office. And because he is also the Minister for Economic Growth and Development, he has basically transferred or energized his office to handle what the Ministry of Education should be handling. Have you noticed it? So here's what's happening. This minister gave her speech, and what she outlined is what I'm saying to Percy. In the reading of it between the lines, you see the new philosophy, and a great one too, might I say, for education. Objectives of the strategy. So it first says that a national skills strategy is to be developed that addresses technical vocational education and training. Other objectives of this strategy include strengthening the links between employers, education and training providers, putting people, well, first, that's a massive point right there. In the Patterson report, they spoke about incorporating some elements of work and study in how you address apprenticeship type
So what they do in
modality.
Germany and the countries, the Nordic
Yeah.
countries.
So that you're training people to function in a workplace, and you are sensitive to the needs of employers in how you address things. So that
you're
is
not
one
training
objective of
people
the strategy.
So you're not training people in a vacuum. You're training them to the jobs that are out there and what you're
To
seeking
function
to
in the
do.
real world.
Right, that's correct.
Please tell me how that is a digitization issue. How is that a skills and digitization issue? Yet, it is in her plate.
Yeah, because
It should be.
She's the de facto Minister of Education.
Ah, thank you.
That's what you're saying.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That the Prime Minister has, by a sleight of hand, brought the Ministry of Education into his office while Minister Favour is out there
Fighting fires, bushfires.
and the teachers are out there. Okay, so that's one thing. Then it says what you and I love to hear, that this strategy puts people at the center of the constant evolution of skills.
Mm-hmm.
So now you are actually people-centered. What a blessing. Delivering the skills to create more and better jobs. So now quality has entered the play. How long have you heard me complaining that even with the BPO sector is low quality jobs, they're getting at the lowest end of the spectrum, no money, or very little money. So this lady is saying her objective is to deliver skills that can lead to the creation of more and better jobs. When you hear more, you're now looking at innovation and diversity.
Correct.
Better jobs, higher level of skills.
Quality.
She's saying quality jobs that can give Jamaicans the opportunity to do more than eat Kentucky Fried Chicken on Fridays. You can actually now go to Uncorked and have a dinner with your family.
Who is Uncorked?
Well, Percy, you're betraying some things here.
That's all
Or
right.
you're just balancing me out. No, man, there are two nice restaurants in the St. Andrew area and also in Montego Bay. Let me say, I'm not advertising Uncorked, but I do pass by and see how well attended, how well patronized it is. Yeah. That's why I tell you that some people are saying dinner for family is in a nice sit-down restaurant with linen on the table. And for some, it's sitting outside KFC or, you understand? And that hurts me, that the standards have to be so far apart. Anyway, so she want to deliver more and better jobs and, drum roll, sustainable economic growth. So now you have a vision for growth of the overall economy, and you're moving the pieces in place by giving people better skills, upgrading them, upskilling them. I see that word somewhere else. Then comes the last part, which is the icing on the cake. This strategy promotes inclusivity, inclusive of people of all ages. And these are words now that this is just the best written speech anybody could give on their maiden voyage. Inclusive of Jamaicans of all ages who are empowered to traverse their path towards new opportunities. That means the glass ceiling gone. You don't have to reach somewhere and book. This strategy will break glass ceilings because you can now get into new opportunities. New opportunities mean funding and doors being open in the financial realm because you would have been nurtured, educated, cultured in a system that makes you a viable, bankable prospect. I'm putting all of these into what this lady has said. And then because she is the digitization queen, it ends with embracing technology. So all of the problems we've been all of the talk you and I have mourning how Jamaicans lack digital literacy, need to be more comfortable with the technology and more proficient in moving through the space as the rest of the world is marching along. Miss Dr. Morris Dixon has a strategy on her desk to accomplish that. Yep. Then she says several countries around the globe have already moved in this direction, and she cites Ireland, South Africa, Australia, and Germany, among others. Do you notice, with the exception of South Africa, which have a good black population, she has reached for the examples from some differently abled economies, which is not a bad thing. They understand, she says, that a deliberate skills strategy is crucial for a country's development. And I am going to add the word survival. Development, survival. Because Cuba, our neighbor, she didn't talk about Cuba. Cuba, our neighbor, has long practiced doing exactly that. You can't get up and say, oh, I just want to be a doctor, without knowing if there's room for another doctor, as opposed to a nurse or a teacher or a farmer or a biologist or a musician, whatsoever the case might be.
Yeah, I'm just thinking in terms.
You like what she said?
It always sounds well.
Yeah, but in terms of pulling a philosophy out of it, do you see what I mean?
No, I'm understanding.
Yeah.
It sounds well, and then now, you make it with your tongue in cheek says that is the de facto minister of education.
Oh yes, it is. I'm not even being tongue in cheek with it. It is clear that we couldn't make the flying handover, which I've described, to move from a ministry which has as its foundation a desire to keep the plantation stocked with labor of a certain level. This issue that I keep raising with you, that our economy is geared against labor being at zero value, slave labor. Lady here is speaking about a different regime. And I prefer the one of which she speaks, quite frankly. But government has the responsibility of taking care of everybody. So you can't condemn one batch of people to die under the hand of Favor's ministry while you are building a castle over here for another set of people.
It should be the same set of people.
It should be, yeah, you should really find a way to integrate. That's why you are politicians and you are policymakers and so on and so forth. That's your job. Meanwhile, says she, the Hart NSTA Trust is to strengthen its technical and vocational education and training regime to make it more responsive, accountable, and forward-looking. This with the view of building a technically skilled workforce that is nimble and responsive to changes in global demands. The Office of the Prime Minister will work with Hart to develop and grow higher-level technical programs that are underpinned by the needs of the local economy and industry inside, that will provide persons with pathways to advance to higher levels of technical training while supported by on-the-job training.
Well, that's another shift there. Because
enabling our current and future workforce to be the pillar of industry transformation and the engine of economic growth is our goal. Doesn't it sound like a Michael Manley statement right there, sir? I heard it in my head.
She went to school with it. But I'm just...
Yeah. No, she's too young to go to school with Michael Manley. What did you say?
No,
she went to school with him?
No, she probably coming out of his school of thought. That's
I see.
No, man, Michael...
What you say?
I went to school, but you remember you can't go to somebody's school.
Oh, that's what you meant.
Yeah.
I see.
Like
I see. At the feet of Gamaliel.
Yes, right.
Perhaps he was her Gamaliel.
Yeah, but what I'm thinking, I'm hearing that, and my mind runs to implementation of that. How do we move it forward? You know, you can bring about change. Somebody said this to me. You know, you have a ship, and a ship is going along a path. The ship is so big that if you were to make a sudden turn, it would break the bow and everybody would be drowned.
Yeah.
So it's now, how do we now shift mindsets in terms
the
of
first
saying
thing, Percy,
is
Hart should be in the Ministry of Education. Listen, you can't have it both ways. You can't be building a different ministry while you have one ministry already struggling.
Because I remember...
Hart should not be out there as some super agency getting a whole heap of money from employers, but not dealing with... It's like you're creating a sick child so you can go cure him when he's in his 30s.
No, but you have put it right. I could never understand the logic of And it's Mr. something is doing, the Prime Minister is doing. Can't remember he existed as Minister of Education.
Of Education, so I'm still love it.
Right.
I try move it into his office piece by piece.
No, but it's there already. Remember, in terms that it would directly reports to him. And so I'm saying to myself.
Which one? Ministry of Education?
No, he needs to put back Heart Trust NTA under Ministry of Education because what it does, it releases additional
resources
to
tackle present day needs as well as catching them later on when they're failed.
So here is it that she has clearly elucidated the strategy on it.
Yeah. There's a philosophy for education. Tell us, Sandra.
And then now, you have a minister who is saying, all right, let's do vocational in primary school.
Look at that.
When you could easily say, okay, put the Heart Trust NTA, and then because they've amended the Heart Trust NTA Act already,
Yeah.
Let's use some of those forces to empower
what's going on in the primary and the early childhood and
because so therefore
all right, we've solved that one.
You like what you solved that one. No, but I'm saying
solved that one.
No, but seriously looking at it. So you can send us the money. We'll take consultancy fee.
And let me tell you, Percival, I would joyfully open another office and pay the arm and the leg to Heart. Because I would know that it is having an impact at the levels that matter. We seem to want to, well, as I said, it's like you make the child sick all through in childhood. And then bring him into the clinic when he's 19, 20 and give him all of the bells and whistles.
And so it is so important to hold intention that you have to be operating on two different
levels and tracks. Yeah.
You have to fix what's in education, and they missed a grand opportunity to fix what was so bad in education by this compensation thing.
There is a theory, certainly in the entertainment industry, in film. Follow the money. Anytime you see something go on, and you can watch a movie and see them structuring it, follow the money.
In the movie?
Yes. Okay. I'm just going into art now, so I'm not accused of saying people are trying to steal Heart money. Oh. But Heart is cash rich.
Yeah.
So they're not leaving it. So it have to be put somewhere where you can do as you see fit with it. But Heart, the contribution to Heart and the education tax are meant for the same set of people, the picnics of the nation.
The children of the nation.
Children of the nation.
And I know they have tried stuff in terms of trying to infuse vocational in high school, because you remember you have the technical high schools.
Yes,
the grammar schools don't have it. The traditionals don't have it.
Yeah.
And to introduce STEM, you can use those things in terms of robotics. Only few schools have robotics.
By the power of the Holy Ghost, we have solved it.
Yeah.
Mr. Prime Minister can thank us later.
Yeah, but it is true.
Yeah, I see what you're doing, sir, and it's not nice. The Ministry of Education has some real challenges. If you're keeping the ministry integrated with the place to which you have sent all of the good stuff, including the good thinking, we beg you. All right, we're taking our break, 9:30. We'll be right back.
Our world is changing rapidly, and our most valuable resource will be our teachers. They are the key to preparing us for the future. The government of Jamaica is investing in education teachers through scholarships in the field of STEM studies, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Apply for a STEM scholarship for the opportunity to get qualified to pursue a rewarding career as a STEM teacher. Find out more at www.mof.gov.jm/scholarships. Sign up for a STEM scholarship today. Conditions apply.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales, shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-382-528 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
And love more, 'cause you open up the door.
Live, camera, volume. Live it up Fridays on Bess 100 FM. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. with I, Ibi Lion, each and every Friday, giving you the better vibes heard everywhere.
Half a tree, one and drive, half a tree. Bossy, how we do I take taxi star?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and me check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? Yeah, waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. Yeah, hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me, send you.
You big star. Yeah, man, respect my boss.
Yeah, try calling, cause trust me.
Voiceless Spares and Repairs, good afternoon.
What a relief.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-time taxi service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
From anywhere at all. You can call us on 926-3866.
We are something special on the road.
Goodness mercy, it's me again, Lord, your restorer, your game changer. Join me every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and Best FM 100. It's Apostle Clive Campbell, aka the Khaki Suit Man, coming to you from 8 to 12 Orange Street, also Richmond District, Mandeville. Embrace the change.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minett and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
All right, welcome back. I believe we will survive for the next 10 minutes. The drumming and the noise has grown a little more intense than makes it comfortable to speak, but we only have a few more minutes to go. We could wrap up the commentary we were making on what is clearly a move, a shift not necessarily in a bad direction, because the policy, as explained by our new minister, is quite appropriate to the demands of the day. She has mentioned everything that is current and necessary for Jamaica to survive and to get our workforce up to par. But we are struggling somewhat in understanding why the Ministry of Education, which could well do with the same level of thought and focus, is left out there struggling, teachers departing in droves, issues pertaining to remuneration and benefits continue to be a great distraction. I call it distraction, but the truth is survival is at issue for many of these teachers who have left the profession. I know that our Constitution only guarantees us state-paid education up to all age level, which is around 12 or 13 years of age.
And so it begs the question in terms of the minds of our political class. What we see in terms of saying that education is free up to the secondary level. If we are, you talk something, but you need to back it up with action.
Yeah, man.
And with constitutional reform, is things that you can now begin to really address. That it is known for a fact that we have to put the resources where it is needed, so that we can do what we need to do in terms of moving our people forward, especially our young people. And what she has outlined, inclusivity, making use with technology, consistently educating our people to a certain level, that they are nimble.
Leveraging the links between employers and schools.
Yeah.
She's touched on all of the things which the Patterson report delved into as well. So it is the one ministry. Why we have this bifurcated system. Yes.
If you need to move the lady, move her out. Put this lady here. And then I know for a fact that, because when something about a long time.
And then hiding it under this guise of digitization.
And skills.
The very fact that you say skills and digitization gives the impression that it's a technology move you're doing, but it's not a technology move. That is wholesale education. It's a worthwhile, much needed shift, but it ought to be inclusive of the resources and the personnel that currently populate the Ministry of Education. So please.
And we had the education tax, which came about years ago in order to empower or educate, that you have funds that are set aside.
To have sufficient resources for the
so there's sufficient money in the system.
More than enough.
Proper priorities, proper leadership, that's a crucial thing, proper implementation to shape what needs to happen.
Oh, wow.
So with that in mind, as one ticked off, and we can send our fees, our consultancy fees, to the Prime Minister in terms of this is what he needs to do. And seeing what is there, we continue to say that, like Minett has said, we're not a young, Jamaica is not like a lady. And I said it's a Minett. I said it's
what did I say?
You're like a lady that says you're leading the person on.
Oh, Jamaica and the pretty lady with mixed signals.
Yes.
Sending
mixed signals. We have to be clear.
Yeah, man.
Clear.
I said that the US put an awkward question
to us.
And we responded like, hey, I actually have a law against that.
I know. No.
That is the proverbial slap in the face now. How dare you? There's a law against that.
Right.
Yeah.
But we have also, in this week, spoken to the fact that that question has brought to the fore, how do we deal with matters of law in a consistent way?
Yeah. Our integrity is now at issue, and our credibility, because we roundly slap them in the face and say there's a law against that.
But what about the other
there are many laws.
When with the Integrity Commission,
we play fast and loose with.
Integrity Commission,
yes,
under attack because a man said them having a witch hunt. A witch hunt? They're just doing their work.
Yeah.
Why is it that reports, the Auditor General report that according to our Constitution must be released because she's independent of people, she just do her work? Why did they release one of the reports and not the other one?
Yeah, I told you it was time release thing.
Is that time release?
Yeah.
Oh,
but
Lord.
I read the report in full and saw the Deputy Speaker of the House is actually the Prime Minister's wife. Yes, ma'am. Mrs. Holness is the Deputy Speaker who released the report and had a very cute exchange with another member of the House who was pointedly asking, are you overruling the Speaker's position? And some cute response was given that is not even worth repeating. But the truth of the matter is, there was no need to ask her if she's overruling the Speaker's decision. Just take the report and go and do your work. You know, all the time you'll hear me say,
oh Lord have mercy,
when you are in the position as when you've succeeded on a point,
it's personal.
Your enemy's neck is under your foot.
Don't bother step on it.
Don't bother jump up and down all over it and take pictures and do a selfie.
I want to do that. So my time.
I know.
That is it.
Resist the urge. She released the report, treat it as a concession on the point, and move on and do your work.
So we're going to get the other report next week.
Well, apparently they're doing it little by little, depending on slow release. And
then the gag order. Where are these persons?
So before we go, let me thank Taki for. There are some points he's making here. I'm reading them because he's talking about the use of master teachers in the schools that have a higher level of proficiency to give videos which are available to the other schools that don't have. Yeah, that is in fact being done, Taki. Maybe it should be done more and it should be a lot more talk about it and so on and so forth. But that's an idea that was being touted from as far back as when I was dealing with the Universal Service Fund was funding e-learning.
And they've stopped doing that. Them doing all of these access points.
They're focused. You don't hear much about the e-learning part of it, but that is the first and only project that went to Parliament and was approved for funding by the Universal Service Fund. Nothing else has gone. The fund is doing things.
They're not doing what.
But it's yeah.
You know, that's why we need the law of the Medes and the Persians in this country.
Let me tell you.
We say it is joke,
that one discussion you and I had about it.
The laws of the
has stayed in my mind.
The laws of the Medes.
That there be continuity of the things that are good and progressive.
For all of we as people.
For the benefit of us all.
And that is what I advocate. You know, I just share something with you. My children have all gone to primary schools. It was a deliberate decision that I took.
Not to send them to high-price prep schools.
Right.
Or just prep schools, whether it's high-price or not.
Yeah. And my children have done well academically. But it was not good enough for me as an individual, as a Christian, to see things in the system not working. I say, I know my problem that. I know my problem that. Not my problem. That's why I've been involved in PTAs and so on to advocate that we must be just and fair to every picnic.
Yeah.
Every child.
Yeah. There's none that we should condemn.
Yeah.
And say, let's prepare for the next one.
What can we do to make sure that the system is equitable, that you are maximizing it? And you know what woke me up that I have to do research? Other primary school, I said to the principal one, how much money you get from the ministry? And she said, something like $300 and something per student. So what you say? So what you say?
That was when your kids were going to school.
Primary school, years ago. Yeah. I said, no, man. And that mobilized us to mobilize the PTA. And they said, there's more that we can do.
More is needed, and we have to close the gap.
We have to do it. And so, and we have been through no compulsory fees and the political football that was played.
Yeah.
When they know in effect that there is not enough resources put there to ensure that all of the children, not just your pick on it.
If you're paying close attention at any moment now, Percy will have to get up and speak to the wind.
Yeah.
I'm just before he does that, let me say thank you for supporting us this morning on air, online. We bless you for the weekend. This is, of course, where we call it quits for the week. Thank you to those back at studio and right here, Pastor Percival, producer engineer Lawrence. Thank you for making the show this morning. Percival, interesting topics of discussion. I know you and I are going to continue as we have our Jamaican breakfast. So to you all, I say, have a great weekend.
Walk good and don't bucket too. Have a great weekend. It's our Friday. So see you on Monday.
See you on Monday.
Many rivers to cross, but I can't seem to find my way over. Wandering, I am lost as I travel along wide cliffs of Dover. Many rivers to cross, and it's only my will that keeps me alive. I've been licked, washed up for years, and I merely survive because of my pride. But loneliness won't leave me alone. It's such a drag to be on your own. My woman left and she didn't say goodbye. And I guess I have to cry. Many rivers to cross, but just where to begin? I'm playing for time. There've been times I find myself thinking of committing some dreadful crime. Yes, I got many rivers to cross, but I can't seem to find my way over. Wandering, I am lost as I travel along. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Hear the children crying. One love. Hear the children crying. One heart. Saying, give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Saying, let's get together and feel alright. Oh, 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 oh. Let them all pass all their dirty remarks. One love. There is one question I'd really love to ask. One heart. Is there a place for the hopeless sinners who has hurt all mankind? Just say there's so believe. One love. What about a one heart? What about let's get together and feel alright? As it was in the beginning. One love. So shall it be in the end. One heart. Alright. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. One more thing. Let's get together to fight this holy Armageddon. One love. So when the man comes, there will be no doom. One soul. Have pity on those whose chances grow thin. There ain't no hiding place from the Father of creation.
can make a change. We can make a change. Come together. Whoa, yeah. If we don't change up the valleys and rearrange the system, we're always gonna be, the victim. If we don't change up the valleys and rearrange the system, we're always gonna be, the victim. My heavens declare Rastafari glory. Haile Selassie manifests his life. Now I shall tell of my story, 'cause his story has been lies, yeah. Contradicting themselves in every illustration, and they make believe in a world of confusion. Now I just see that they are not real, 'cause the truths have been revealed. And if we don't change up the valleys and rearrange the system, we're always gonna be, the victim. If we don't change up the valleys and rearrange the system, well, we're always gonna be, the victim. Got to make a change. Make a change. Treating our people like they are garbage, and through loss of vanity, we never seek to acknowledge to the weak and the feeble. You took advantage to give yourself that tolerance, because you think we're underprivileged. Now it's time for us to reinforce ourselves. Who's gonna do it for us? None but ourselves. If we don't change up the valleys and rearrange the system, we're always gonna be, the victim. If we don't change up the valleys and rearrange the system, well, we're always gonna be, the victim. If we don't change up the valleys and rearrange the system, we're always gonna be, the victim. My heavens declare Rastafari glory. Haile Selassie manifests his life. Now I shall tell of my story, 'cause his story has been lies. So if we don't change up the valleys and rearrange the system, we're always gonna be, the victim. If we don't change up the valleys and rearrange the system, we're always gonna be, the victim. If we don't change up the valleys and rearrange the system.
They can't keep a good man down. Always keep a smile when they want me to frown. Keep the vibes and I stood my ground. They will never ever take my crown. Oh, Jah bless, I say no man curse. Things getting better when they thought it would be worse. Here comes the officers asking for a search. They found no weapon, just only a draw first. But I'm so solid as a rock, they just can't stop me now. Even when they set their traps, they just can't stop me now. People will say this and that, they just can't stop me now. Even when they set up roadblocks, they just can't stop me now. When they come with their evil thoughts, I just listen whenever they talk. I used to light into my dark, he cut and clear all my faults. They fight me without a cause, trying to make my life so hard. The King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, give it all reward. So solid as a rock, they just can't stop me now. Even when they set their traps, they just can't stop me now. People will say this and that, they just can't stop me now. Even when they set up roadblocks, they just can't stop me now. So don't to mix me up in your dirty game. You're only trying to tarnish my name. You're only looking for the innocent to blame, when you're the ones who wish the guns down the lane. You only cause destruction and the pain, but the righteous believes in the rain. Love is all I got to give and I'm not to shine. Looking for the future, the sky I can't tame. Cause I'm so solid as a rock and they just can't stop me now. Even when they send their traps, they just can't stop me now. People will say this and that, they just can't stop me now. Even when they set up roadblocks, they just can't stop me now. So they can't keep a good man down, always keep a smile when they want me to frown. Keep the vibes and I stood my ground. They will never ever take my crown. Who's a bless? I say no man curse. Things getting better when they thought it would be worse. Here comes the officers asking for a search. They found no weapon, just only a dropper. Solid as a rock, they just can't stop me now. You're simply the best, better than all the rest, better than anyone I ever met. You're simply the best.
Bess FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
Our world is changing rapidly, and our most valuable resource will be our teachers. They are the key to preparing us for the future. The government of Jamaica is investing in education, teachers through scholarships in the field of STEM studies, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Apply for a STEM scholarship for the opportunity to get qualified to pursue a rewarding career as a STEM teacher. Find out more at www.mof.gov.jm/scholarships. Sign up for a STEM scholarship today. Conditions apply.
We're just a click away. www.bestfm.com. Streaming live on the internet.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-3825-8 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
Veteran Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Veteran Printers, your best choice in printing.
live, camera, volume. Live It Up Fridays on Bess 100 FM, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. with I, Ibilion, each and every Friday, giving you the better vibes heard everywhere.
Half a tree, one and drive, half a tree. Bossy, how you do I take taxi star?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and me check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? You waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. Yeah, hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me send you.
You big star. Yeah, man. Respect my boss.
Yeah, try and call him, cause trust me.
Winters Auto Spares and Repairs, good afternoon.
What a relief.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-time taxi service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
From anywhere at all. You can call us at 926-3866.
We are something special on the road.
Goodness mercy, it's me again, Lord, your restorer, your game changer. Join me every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and Bess FM 100. It's Apostle Clive Campbell, aka the Khaki Suit Man, coming to you from 8 to 12 Orange Street, also Richmond District, Mandeville. Embrace the change.
Greetings. I go by the name of Miss Wire Waist. Catch me on Bess 100. I will be discovering the greatness of Jamaica and Jamaicans through people, places, and things, home and abroad. Playing you some good music, along with interviewing artists, soundmen, producers, and Jamaicans making a difference all over.